5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I did it. I did it
Oh,
again, didn't I? 4, 3,
failed.
2, 1. I did it. I did
Sounds
it
like you
again,
failed.
didn't I? Yeah.
Anticlimactic.
3,
Failed
2. No, 1.
extremely.
What I did was have another link to the stream open, and I didn't know it was open.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it was running a double sound on it.
Oh yeah.
oh boy. Where's my picture?
I don't know. Do you have one?
Yeah, I have a reactive one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Where is it?
I'm very curious about this picture as well.
I think it's I think it's because I did it all custom. It shouldn't be
Oh,
that
okay.
way. Yeah, I did it all custom, and it shouldn't be all that way. But anyway, while I'm doing that and being multitaskative, which is not a word, by the way.
Ooh. I mean,
Multitaskative.
you own it though.
Welcome to Apartment A14, where 4 dudes, 3 dudes sometimes, come around, talk about what's happening in the world. Usually it's about video games, and sometimes it's just more worldly, as we are going to be talking about today, some stuff that may intersect. We have guests today, since 2 of our boys, they are preoccupied. One's busy, and the other one is not feeling very well, and I kind of forced him to rest today. More than that, though, I want our guests to introduce ourselves, starting with the one who's been on here the most. Last Order, you want to reintroduce yourself?
That was me? I thought that was Solus.
I mean,
What?
I've known Solus longer, sure.
Yeah, what?
Here, let me start. Who the hell is
Yes.
Solus? There you go.
Oh,
There
hi.
we go.
Introduce yourself.
Oh well,
I'm Solus. I've been around for a little while. I play a lot of video games. I do a lot of research behind the scenes just to find about trends in video games and how things kind of interact all together.
That sounds like a very professional career choice.
I'm retired at 40.
he retired
Wait,
young.
You're
Yes,
40?
he
Yeah,
retired young.
I actually turned 40 on the 17th.
I'm younger than Solus. Yes.
I think you made his day.
Woohoo!
You made his day. You honestly made his day.
I'm the token old dude now, all right?
Yeah.
Also,
Well,
I have next year shit.
well, since we're on about that, how about you reintroduce yourself, Last Order?
My name is Andy. I am from Last Order Films on Twitch. Don't be confused with that runaway from Last Order Films from YouTube. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he is. Disappeared somewhere.
Forgot I had you upside down in the reactive, so you're upside down.
I'm an upside down cinema roll. Here we go. Yeah, I'm a Twitch streamer by trade now. Hospital worker by day, streamer by earlier day, and I've been
Earlier.
playing. And exactly, I work 2 jobs. And I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey all day, every day, because it's an amazing game. And please, Ubisoft, make more games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, please. Oh yeah, that's the best. Look at that.
I mean, yeah, they could do that. They could certainly do that. They can make Assassin's Creed Odyssey like the best not Assassin's Creed ever, because they should take they should take the name away.
Yeah, I'm just really upset with the whole Skull and Bones thing, but we can talk about that some other day because that
Pirates.
doesn't look good.
I don't know too much
I
about that.
can't. It's
Pirates.
disappointing. It's very
Oh, is it really?
disappointing. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Basically, there's gonna be no exploration. It's basically like World of Warships with pirate boats.
What?
Trash.
Hmm.
Trash.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Why would they do
Yeah.
that?
I don't know.
I don't know. There's something going on with just the AAA industry and altogether. But you know what? Let's slide into our first subject here, just a bit.
But why am I still upside down?
Because
You know
God,
what you did.
because God says so. I don't know
my
what to
blood
tell you.
pressure. My blood pressure.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell. Here, I'll make it. I'll make it just a little bit better. Now it makes sense. You're on the ceiling.
Yay!
All right. So, I think some of you guys have heard about this before, but Multiverses is out, guys. Has anybody been playing it?
Free to play.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
What
I'm
y'all,
gonna pretend I am. Yes.
what you guys think about it?
I mean, honestly, I think it's a lot easier to get in. If you've never played Smash or you've seen it played and you haven't really got to do a lot with it, I feel it's got a great tutorial. It's extremely easy to understand and get into. And honestly, they have a really good selection of IP that to play with. I think it's a really cool idea.
Yep, they even have LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they even had the meme where he was like pointing off like the foul thing, like, and that's actually in the game.
Yep.
Wait.
That's-
As a playable character?
Yeah.
Yes.
LeBron, like straight up Space Jam LeBron.
Space Jam. Yeah, Space
Yep.
Jam.
I really can't. I can't.
It's okay. Just take it one step at a time. It's actually pretty fun.
Speaking of pretty fun, so Sync. So how do you feel about this free to play game?
How do I feel
Ooh.
about this particular
Ooh.
free to play game?
Triggered.
I think
yes.
I think it's fun. I think it's fun. But then again, I also played Diablo Immortal and I thought that was fun.
Get out of my house.
How dare you?
Get out of my house.
But there's
I mean, I can
always
see where you're going.
there's a
Diablo
caveat to
Immortal
that.
has aspects that's fun to it.
Yeah,
it's
there's
just
a caveat.
it grinds you to a halt if you don't pay. And I think that it really hurts the game toward the end. Honestly, with what I've played Multiverses, I haven't seen that happen. You can always just play.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
earn the stuff in
Oh,
the
yeah.
game too, right? Like just by playing.
Yes.
You get missions
Nice.
and you get like extra coins for it. And
Yes.
yeah, it honestly it seems like it's pretty nice. And there are a few things that are kind of expensive-ish, like
Mhm.
costumes and battle pass stuff, but none of it's necessary to just play the game.
Right. So there are some stuff that will cost money, but it's ultimately aesthetic choice. Like there's something called the 1 million Superman, which is just a pure gold Superman,
Yeah.
and it's going off
Superman
of like,
Prime.
I guess. Yeah.
1
It's
million
the-
Superman Prime when
Yeah.
he spent too much time in the sun.
When he has the sword of Superman.
Yeah, but that's not.
Wonderful.
I mean, that's not the ultimate point. I mean, it's shiny, so it looks like you might want to get it. But
How much? How much?
so it's 1,500. It's 15.
Gleamium.
Yeah, Gleamium. That's
USD.
what it's called.
Gleamium.
So 15.
Yes, they call it Gleamium.
Yeah.
And it's pretty close to one Gleamium is pretty close to a penny, roughly.
$1. Or yeah. Well, like 100
yeah.
Gleamium is $1. So think
Yeah.
of it that way. But
Hmm.
it does cost that money, and it's you buy it once and you get it. So they're going off of like League of Legends kind of thing, where you buy the cosmetic first time and the only time. There's like no spin to win. There's no loot box.
Well, I'm not gonna play that game then. What the hell?
Oh yeah, I forgot. You're stuck in the Genshin dimension.
I want my pity.
Dimension.
Yeah.
I want to hit pity. How am I gonna hit pity if it's guaranteed?
Nah, but
Some of
I'll
us
put you in a lower
like
elo.
Some of us like to pray to RNGesus.
I know.
Exactly.
What is wrong with y'all? Y'all seem
Come
like
on,
the kind of
come on.
people to just drink coffee normally every
Sir.
day.
Sir, shall I describe to you the joys of surprise mechanics?
Oof.
No,
The
no.
surprise
'Cause I know you're already down bad, dude.
So
Damn it,
one
Cal.
one thing that really surprises me about this game. So have you guys looked at the numbers on PC?
So I think I've caught a glimpse. Hey, what's up, Calcor? What's up, man? What's up, Apple? How you doing? I thought I saw 100K people playing at the same time on Steam.
Not bad.
Yes. So currently it is running. Let me refresh this chart. It has 139,000 concurrent players. It has more people in there than Apex Legends.
Jesus.
Now, and keep in mind, this is all crossplay. You can play with all the other platforms that have it on there.
Yep.
And they're the predominant ones that are really getting this push to them.
Yep.
Mhm.
This may very well be the most active quote unquote fighting game that has ever existed.
And it's still in beta.
Correct. And
That's
that's why
amazing.
it's still wild. Now,
Yeah.
and there's a huge push right now because a lot of people have been wanting new fighting games to come out as free to play, because it makes it where the barrier for entry is so low that people can get in there and start to enjoy it while they do a business model around like costumes and stuff like that. And Sakurai and the rest of them have been kind of scoffing and going, ugh, yeah, no, yeah, we can't do that. But this game may actually push them toward going, hey, holy crap, we might actually be able to do this, and it might be a sustainable business model.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I think Maximilian Dude was talking about this, how this is one of the first fighting games that's going free to play and actually trying to tackle it in like a more sensible way. Because the reason why I bring up this article, which is talking about the difference between Diablo Immortal and Multiverses, is that Multiverses is keeping all of their players and not trying to push out all the people who doesn't have money. Because as long as you keep playing the game, you'll get all the characters eventually. They do switch outs, like I think every week with different characters. Like I said, like League of Legends, which is actually pretty cool. And the barrier to entry, like how the play the game like right now, is not high cap. They're working on the matchmaking right now, just so that people don't get matched with people who are actually really skilled. I think it also comes around to the rank, but we'll talk about that later. So far, I've been playing this since the first closed beta, and I tried to get Skeptic, Panic, and Anima to play, but I gave them the code, I gave them the keys, and they did nothing with it. So I'm still a little bit miffed about that. Should have gave it to somebody else if that was the case. But I've been playing since then, since that time. They've done a lot of good changes. They've changed some characters. Like, I think Taz had like a problem when the game first came out in open beta, and
yeah, he was building his salt meter way too fast.
Right, and his spin to win was nearly incredible to go against, because his spin, along with another Taz, the spin could spin against each other like Meta Knight did in Brawl. So it was spin, and nobody
Iron
can get
Giant
out
right
of that.
now it's crazy.
Hey, what's up, Nutu? Been trying to get the boys to play it. Nutu, if you wanna, I'm all for the game. If you guys wanna add me in there, Solus, you play it too,
Look
right?
at you
Yeah.
being all pro free to play.
Well, I'm not pro free to play. I'm pro fighting game right now.
Well,
I
think-
think you can dance around it if you want to.
No, it's not free to play that I like. It's the game
Got 'em,
itself.
boys.
It's
responsible. I
no,
think
we got
honestly,
him.
just responsible. That's the biggie.
yeah, like you're playing Marvel Snap. So like, if we're gonna change up the subject just a little bit, but like still stick to it. Like, what was your experience with Snap right now?
Very, very fun. Very accessible. Not free to play friendly.
Not free to play friendly. And from what I could feel from Marvel, sorry, Multiverses, I think it's friendly to the players. It's free to play, but like, if I were to give it a price, right? If you're going to spend money on a game, I say you only need to spend money once ever, and it has a founders pack, which gives you pretty much everything you need to start up for like $40. I think at its highest it's $40, but at its lowest I think it's $20, and that's the price I give Multiverses. Now, about Diablo Immortal.
No.
Man.
No.
So the
No.
person in this article compared Multiverses and Diablo Immortal. For one, the Diablo
Why?
Immortal's player base is going down, but it's going back up drastically because now they silently opened it up to China. So China now has Diablo Immortal. They didn't say anything
really?
about it. Yeah, they under the radar didn't say anything about it. No ads, nothing on social media, but under the radar.
So they got
China
full
has
approval
it.
then? Because they were looking down the barrel of a full-on ban for a while.
True, but since they didn't say anything, and China's like laws and copyrights are all like messed up anyway, they could just do it. Like, I don't think there's anything that's really stopped. Like unless China's leader just said, "Nope, fuck that game. Nope, we get it out of here."
Did it get fronted through Tencent?
NetEase.
Okay, yeah. I mean, they're all kind of in the same programs.
Kinda,
we'll say
yeah,
that.
kinda. Like they're in bed with each other, but like NetEase, basically footed the bill.
Yeah, that's right. They were the background developers of it, weren't they?
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
no. It was Blizzard. It was like Blizzard trying to organize the development, and NetEase was the base. They were the ones who actually made the base of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
they-
they do a lot of ARPGs over
Yeah.
there,
Yep.
and they have a wildly, fantastically successful business based around the exact things that Diablo Immortal's doing.
A Calcor here saying he's in the top 500k players right now is Harley Quinn. Harley is just evil. She's monstrous if you know how to use her.
I've been rocking Reindeer Dog.
Oh, dude, really?
Yeah,
I didn't like Superman at first, but then I'm in the top 1,000 of Supermans right now. So I just kept playing him because he's free right now. I bought Finn, Shaggy, and there was one more person.
Wait,
Arya.
wait.
Arya Stark.
You bought
No,
characters?
not bought, but like in-game purchase, like the in-game.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't spend a dime, so
So what you're saying is you're playing for free.
right,
So
Huh.
what? Oh, so you're playing for free,
right.
like as if you're enjoying a free-to-play game.
I'm enjoying a free game.
Yeah, a free-to-play game.
It is a free-to-play game. I'm not gonna go against that. It is a free-to-play game, but
Got him.
first and foremost, it's
He broke him.
it's a fighting game. No,
Mm.
not yet. Until they put in something egregious like what they did in Diablo Immortal with the Dawning Echo,
Mhm.
where they literally gatekeep people from actually reaching the height of their power, then a free game like this, where all you're really spending on is cosmetics and things that look good and
Yeah.
characters, really. There really isn't anything that's giving you an edge. It's your skill that matters because it's a fighting game.
I actually wanted to ask you, how's the 2v2 environment like?
It's
really
nuts.
fun.
It's nuts, but it's fun. Like
It's
Okay.
it's not as easy to lose your character as like if you had 4 people in Smash.
Mhm.
Your color schemes don't necessarily match up well enough, and sometimes you can lose your character. In
Mhm.
this one, you actually have red or blue kind of thing, so
Ah.
you can see your hue of what you are, and it's a little bit easier to work with and kind of keep yourself on screen.
Okay.
And all the characters are very floaty. Like
yeah.
Oh.
you can come back from miles away.
Yeah, it's very easy
Oh.
to recover as long as you remember you have 2 like up specials. You have specials, so
Is-
use those. It's easy to come back. I think it has kind of it's more like Brawl gravity, but floatier than that.
Okay. So is that a good thing? Or
It's kind of like their dynamic for what they
Okay.
like. If you become a master of that system, you'll be dangerous, but anybody can pick up and play multiverses and be fine. So I mean, that's
Would you say it has like a Jigglypuff kind of gravity,
I think Jigglypuff is floatier, but close to maybe like
close to the falls though?
I think so. Like yeah, I would say so. Because Jigglypuff is floaty, but she's floatier. I would say. Ooh, I would say like Yoshi. I would say Yoshi.
All right, yeah.
oh, okay. Was
So
which one is floatier, that or the Nickelodeon game?
Probably Nickelodeon, I think.
Okay. So it's not so bad.
man, that thing dropped so hard, man.
That's a shame.
Does anyone know anyone playing that still?
I do, but he's still playing because he's like good at the game and he wants to be good at a game. At
Yeah,
the
like
very
it
least.
looks cool. Yeah,
Hey,
like
man,
it really
King of
did
the
look good.
Flies.
Hey, what? What'd you say, Scott?
I said, hey, King of the Flies.
Yeah, he's top 10. How many players are playing? 5. What?
No, like honestly, like once they said that they weren't gonna have any like real voice actors, I was like, Nickelodeon, you cheap bastards.
Oh, they have
It's
voice
true.
actors now. They have
It's
voice.
true.
They updated. There's
I
now
know, but
every character has voice acting now.
I know,
Nah,
but it's a little too
It's too
late.
late.
I know.
Yeah.
Damage is
Yeah, I
done.
know. I know. Yeah, I know. And
They released 2 of the 4 Ninja Turtles. Come on, if you're
I
gonna
know.
have the Ninja Turtles, give us all 4 at once, man.
Exactly.
I mean,
Like they skimped out on the worst. This is the worst decision ever made by them, by any company actually.
I don't know if it was like too early
Cheap
for it to
asses.
come out or something else. I don't know. All I can really say is that Nickelodeon didn't survive.
They dropped the ball.
Like it's still up in the air right now, but like the creators, I think the creators of the game are moving on to another game. Top 100,000 Shaggy, top 1,000 Superman, right here. Top 1,000 Superman.
Yeah, I just love that they just lean so hard into the memes. Like you have Ultra Instinct Shaggy in the
Bro.
game. I mean, come on.
That's, who
That's
made that up?
hilarious.
Who made
Hilarious.
that up? I want to know who made Ultra Instinct because like it's pure
Bro,
genius. By the
The
way,
internet, bro.
Then they made a
The
character
internet.
off of a meme. They made a character off of the meme, and I like that. I love it. I love that they did that.
Yeah, it's great. They just leaned into it and said, "Psh, whatever, make them happy."
Remember the You remember the there was like a small little clip with Shaggy like pulling Scorpion through the WB sign, and they were like, "It's official." So
Oof.
I don't know, but I think Scorpion might actually be in Multiverses soon. I
You
have
know
no
what?
idea.
They should. They should bring in some Mortal Kombat characters.
They should.
Like bring in whatever they can. Like for that's perfect for a fighting game. I think they'll do
Yeah, like
perfectly well.
LeBron James.
Like LeBron James.
I just really can't with that.
NetherRealm Studios' parent company is Warner Brothers. Period.
Who?
NetherRealm Studios, the people
Yeah.
that own Mortal Kombat, is owned by Warner Brothers. That's their parent company.
So it's
Yep.
very possible. So
Oh
They
yeah.
can. Yeah.
I mean, I
dude.
can't wait. But
It's very possible we'll get Scorpion or Sub-Zero. Yeah, definitely.
yes, very possible.
I'ma
Or
say-
Sub-Zero. I would
I'ma say
rather see
Scorpion.
Sub-Zero. I would rather see Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is always
Yeah, I
been, like,
think-
my favorite.
I think Scorpion and Sub-Zero probably will make it in.
Yeah.
Oof.
No Johnny Cage lovers out there. Come on, man.
Oh, really? So there's something going on with the Twitch integration app, and it's showing Rick and Morty as players on the roster.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
Rick and Morty show up on the thing whenever you
Yeah.
click on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the bugs a little bit. So Velma has a bug where she holds her opponent forever, literally. So like if Superman tried to grab Velma, Velma has priority and she would grab him. They grab each other, but she has priority and grabs him, and she,
Wait.
Superman would be stuck, and so
Wait,
she
wait.
could just suicide with him.
Like
She can just Wario you.
Yep.
like Scooby Doo Velma.
Like
Yeah,
Scooby Doo
yeah.
Velma, yeah.
She
Oh,
uses the
I-
power of sass.
I'd want to be held by Velma forever. My God, that's like everybody's dream.
I wouldn't.
If you look at Reddit,
Isn't
there's
it
a lot of people
weird?
that are making that a reality.
Isn't it weird that instead of Daphne, Velma's more popular? You know,
Uh,
you
Because
find out-
Velma's amazing.
I know she's
Yeah.
amazing, but like, you would think when it came to like Daphne, everybody
Daphne
be like,
shallow.
No. You have not seen the live action Scooby Doo's. Every
Yeah,
Velma that's played on them, whew,
yeah.
whew.
Ooh, I know. I'd be waving a fan in my face right now if I knew how hot she was. Like,
Oh my lord.
it was like, I was like, oh lord, oh lord. She calls the police. Oh yeah, and she has like a meter where she can grow, and she calls the police and calls her opponent Old Man Jenkins.
That's hilarious.
And the
I love
police-
that she calls the police.
And she basically is a snitch, and the police, if it goes through you, they grab you and they could just take you off the screen. It's hilarious. Velma is one of the she's really fun to have as a teammate though. Like I'm Superman, here's Velma, and all she's doing is co-signing me like right here and right there, and shouting from across the screen.
Did you see the double Iron Giants? What it looks like?
Yep, and it's
Oh, it's so
weird.
dirty.
It's you saw Max do it where it
Yeah.
was like cruel.
Oh, it is so dirty. Oh my god.
Gonna
Oh
have to-
man, him and Kenny were just wrecking people.
You see, Nintendo? Not all characters are too big for their game.
We're gonna have to put Velma up there with the top tier trolling characters like Phoenix Wright.
I think she is the biggest.
Objection.
I think she is the biggest troll in the game right now, though. I really
Like
no,
in,
no,
like-
no, no,
like-
no, no. It has to be Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny is the biggest troll in the game.
I was watching Hungry Box playing
I don't-
last night.
I don't know, man. Like Sass and the police are pretty high up there.
Oh, listen, Bugs Bunny would literally laugh on your corpse.
Yeah, Bugs
That's-
Bunny is the ultimate troll.
Bugs can sit there
No,
at the
no,
very
no,
edge of
listen.
the screen and rocket himself all the way back, hit you on the ground, make you hit his rocket and fly off screen.
I've actually seen that happen. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
so
just
dirty.
hacks.
Like the level of troll like Velma has is near Bugs Bunny, but Bugs Bunny, he's like the king of trolls because
No, listen, no, like
Just-
you're,
just
mixing up,
his
you're mixing
kid.
up hacks with troll. Like there's no valid reason for Velma to be or Phoenix Wright for that matter to be in a fighting game.
listen, you can be as smart as you
I
want, but
mean-
it's Bugs Bunny. That's the ultimate truth,
Yeah.
though.
It
Like,
hacks, my man. He was
It-
built off of hacks. His entire career is hacks.
That's true.
true,
That is true.
but you can't denounce his cleverness. You can't denounce the fact that
His-
he
his
knows what the fuck he's
superpower-
doing.
Man, he's powered by Acme. Of course, he's gonna be
On a
overpowered.
serious note, Arya Stark is like the strangest inclusion. The problem makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Yeah.
did nobody watch Game of Thrones? Like, people were like, who the hell is this? I'm like, you uncultured swine.
I think everybody knows who Arya is.
Yeah, she's just. It feels weird.
Yeah,
having
she
her
seems
there.
a little bit out of place.
I guess
it's such a
because, like, she's
serious
not a-
tone.
Like, I guess because she's not like a animated fiction.
Well, it's such a serious tone of a show and very much toward adults, but everything else is kind
Yeah.
of geared more toward that like teen to young adult kind of range.
Pretty
And,
much.
like, Yeah, it just feels tonally very strange.
Oh,
I'm not against seeing it there. It's just very weird to me.
And the thing is that Arya is like my best character. That's.
Hmm.
I will defend my girl though, just because
She seems really good, but I really haven't seen anyone at high level play with it.
So
Isn't she like a clone type character where she copies
Like steel
moves?
face stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
she
she's-
she
yeah.
has she has Kirby powers. So her
Hmm.
her attack, not her special, her attack changes. Her neutral attack changes when she steals the face of her victim, is what they call, and she
Wow.
uses their neutral abilities.
Wow.
So right now there's a bug where on the ground her neutral abilities probably won't come out unless you do her original neutral ability first. So that's been happening. Because it's supposed to switch to the victim's ability. It doesn't. But any lasting words? I know you guys want to say that, oh, here's a free-to-play game that Syncweaver likes, and listen, I don't like the freemium nature of free-to-play games.
But
But if a video game is fun, I will admit it wholeheartedly. And if there's nothing holding back its fun, I will admit it. And
Wait, but then you guys remember he said Diablo Immortal was fun. Oh my god.
I know, right?
I did.
Oh my god.
A little context on that. Diablo Immortal is a fun game if you take out the bullshit of all the microtransactions, because the game feels like a Diablo game. But then
The game is
You-
literally skimmed over an existing what do you call this? NetEase game though.
it's
They just tweaked the moves a bit, but it's literally skimmed over an
It's
existing
got a lot
game.
of bugs.
it has
Yeah.
a lot of bugs. It has a lot of
Oh.
bugs. I would say it's not as good as Diablo 3, and I played that for a
Of
comparison.
course not, yeah.
And Diablo 2. But like when I say that this does feel kind of like a Diablo game, I can admit that. It's just that after it being a Diablo game, it's mostly a bullshit game.
Yeah. It's a NetEase game. What were you expecting?
It doesn't it doesn't matter the company as long as the game is good, right?
No, it really does because NetEase games are all like There's some companies where you know what type of game it's gonna be just by knowing the company. NetEase, Netmarble, all their games are the same.
They're very egregious monetary.
They're-
Like, just
Yeah.
I would
it's
say they
bad.
have. I'd say with the
They don't change from their
monetization,
formula.
but there are some games that that they tried to. I think there was a Marvel game they created that is supposed to act like League of Legends, and they tried to make something like that. That game failed like 7 years ago. Yet they're
Yeah.
still
Wow.
they're still trying to put it up on their website saying, "Hey, look, Marvel, you could play that right now." And like, I'm not gonna go against what you say. I agree what you say, but like, this was also made by Blizzard, and Blizzard has a hand in creating Diablo Immortal, and they at the very least wanted it to feel like a Diablo game, which they sort of succeeded. The first 2 hours of the game felt like a Diablo game. And then they jumped off a cliff, and at the bottom you saw whales, sharks, orcas, and guppies,
and that's how, like, 2 hours, and that's how much like contribution Blizzard gave to this game. Like, wow.
you super.
I mean, they sat on it for years.
Oh yeah, Calcor's right. Super good in doubles. Team up with somebody since she deals extra damage. Yeah. Pair her up with Superman or Velma. Hold a ma'am. Rock up. She's. I think you're talking about Arya, right? Yeah, Arya. Arya's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But that's what I will say. I know. I still don't like free to play games. I want to really categorize multiverses as another type of game, other than it being like.
It's a free to play game.
Okay.
I would like to say it's cautiously
really is.
optimistic. Like right now, if you look at the way it's set up, go onto it, and you'll notice there's a few options that aren't open.
Yeah.
Namely, one of them is a piece of the store. So we
Yeah.
actually do not know at the moment what their final
form.
business setup's going to be. We only know what we have right now,
The final,
and this may be just the testing grounds for how much they can get away with.
the
I'm
final.
hoping that they see what they get and they're like, man, this is really good. Let's
Yeah.
just keep this money train rolling. But it's WB, man.
Yeah.
Like they can't even make a movie without it being awful. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping they let these guys do their thing.
They
and
don't have the best
don't kill it.
executives.
Just keep the model that they have right now.
Yeah. If they keep it where they've got now, I think honestly it would be perfectly fine, and they will make plenty of money. But if they play around too much, man, oof.
Then Sync will be forced to admit that it is a free to play game.
I mean,
So,
I'll call it a free
give it a month or two.
game. I just wish I could call it something else. I wish I could just call it a free game with microtransactions in it, to be honest.
Then it's not a free game.
I mean, free to play, it has options
So-
of microtransactions, so technically it's
That's a
still
free-to-play
free, bro.
game.
So,
It's
Oh my
still
God.
free.
so Soulless, like, I don't know, just to fill you in. So like Sync was like mad anti free to play games.
No,
still
Sol-
is.
That's-
Solus
he still
knows.
is.
So, like-
No, Solus knows my
Okay.
Had a
my
couple
Just
conversations
making sure,
about
like,
it.
that's
Yeah.
why we're going hard right now. It's like, because he was like, listen, I will never enjoy a free to play game ever. And
That's why he's
I was
trying
like,
to
"All right."
catalog this as something else so
There-
he can enjoy it.
there is enjoying the game for me, and then there's just getting stuck in a game for me when it comes to free to play games. And I more or less get stuck in a game because I think I'm having fun. Like when it comes to multiverses, I feel as though there's a game in there that doesn't try to take advantage of me. You know
For
what I'm
now.
saying?
Like, just we'll stay hopeful, but I mean, we have to stay cautious too, because you only see what they want.
Like
you to
I'm not gonna
see.
deny it that it's a free to play game. I just wish I could call it
Yeah.
something else. I want to call
Yeah,
it something else.
I mean, that's a good point that you brought up, though, Solus. If there is that missing part of the story, we have to stay cautious and
Yeah.
vigilant.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's scary. to
Always
think
watch
about.
to see if they're going to get their hands in that cookie jar.
Yeah.
That's scary to think about.
So
Well-
hopefully optimistic, but cautious as well.
So we all know about microtransactions, right?
They-
How about-
they flip-
How about in real life? How about
Oh, here we go.
how about microtransactions in cars where you have to pay
Are we
monthly
talking
for
about car
features?
insurance?
You know
I've
what?
been watching this for a couple years.
This is
BMW's been doing
disgusting.
this for a couple years now on just a couple of their features, and apparently they're rolling this out for a wide selection of their features. And
This
I
is
can't believe they're
disgusting.
getting away with it.
And what's
Like,
weird is
who's
like
paying for this?
So currently it's in the United Kingdom,
Right.
Germany, New Zealand, and South Africa.
Oh, thank God that's not in Asia yet, because they would get a lot of business there because people like their Beamers.
It's wild. I don't understand
That's
how
stupid.
the European Union, like, because Germany's still under that as far as I know. I can't understand how EU laws would allow this.
I don't know, like if Belgium is it in Belgium right now?
I do not see it in
BMW?
Belgium. It's
So-
it's just in the United Kingdom and Germany.
Yeah.
Okay, because like
So but the
Belgium
UK is outside of the EU jurisdiction
True,
now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
but Germany is, as far as I know. And that's wild. Like, it's crazy. They have it all the way down to, oh, you want a free trial? Oh, cool. You want to pay by month? Do you want to pay by, I think it's 6 months?
Bro.
Hold on, I can actually click it up right now.
You have to pay microtransactions for functions in your car.
But
Yeah,
here,
things
here's
that
the
are
thing.
I
already
mean,
installed.
you could just not pay.
Is it pay to own? Is it like a lease
Well-
type system or what?
Yeah. Well, here's the crazy part. Right now, BMW is realizing that there are people that are searching for ways to actually jailbreak their car.
What the hell?
Yeah, let that sink in. People
What?
are looking into jailbreaking the functions of their car that they actually own.
Oh my god! Already?
Yeah. I was on Reddit, and there's people passing information back and forth about their encryption and how to do it.
Oh my god.
So are we actually dealing with on this DLC here?
Literally,
this what this-
literally,
This is stuff in your car.
literally.
Like it's we're talking driver assistant stuff. Like, we're talking about the
Oh my God.
cruise control.
Dude,
Kill me,
Heated,
please.
heated seats.
Yeah, heated seats.
Kill me,
Here's-
please.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
ones that have already been going, it's the cruise control and the high beam assistant. Those have been going for 2 years on this system. And now they're rolling it out. It's wild. They have an online entertainment voucher. Your steering wheel heating. Like, it's so weird to piecemeal so many parts of your vehicle.
I would hate to see like, hey, do you want cruise control? It's an extra $50.
Well, so here's the thing. It's the adaptive function of the cruise control. So you have
Oh.
natural cruise control, but whenever you're just
okay.
driving along and someone's slower ahead of you, it'll slow it down to match.
No, but I mean that's always been extra. Like those features have always been extra, Joe. Just to argue the devil's advocate. Like I mean,
So
That's
usually
fine.
they're extra to be installed or added,
yeah.
but we're talking these cars naturally have it in them.
I know, but it's the same principle for in their eyes, I guess. You know what I mean? Like they want you to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
They'll
can
make
see
it
it more.
standard for all cars, but
There-
they're gonna try and get you through the.
It's not
you
much.
know.
It's not enough that you're paying like $80 to $100,000 for some of these expensive ass cars with everything in it. But they're gonna say you need to pay $50, $45, $120 a month. Add it all together, what do you get? You got the car that you paid for $80,000 plus maybe like $300 of microtransactions that you're paying like monthly because it just
But-
never ends.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm going to
but-
post it in the chat so everyone can see.
Yeah.
This is the United Kingdom shop that you can see here. It's just insane.
This is just funny.
Yeah,
Day one DLC, baby.
and the thing is, this is a really scary concept because, like, what happens whenever they go, hey, you need to put features in here, like, you need to have
Oh my goodness. Oh my
your
god.
airbags.
You need to have
What are the
functioning
safety
brakes. Like,
features?
wait, what?
So what if they get into the point where it's your actual safety features of your vehicle that are locked behind DLCs, and they actually go in and make lawmakers have to make it where you have to pay every month these same fees? Because that's exactly why we have to have insurance on our car.
They put the
Right,
high
Because it's
beam
through
assist.
lawmakers.
They put
Wait,
the
so-
high beam assist behind a fucking paywall.
Wait,
That
beam-
used to come naturally.
Wait, high beam or high beam assist?
High beam assist that usually came naturally after cars after like 2012.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
like
Yeah, and it's wild. Yeah,
That's
like
so
we're
stupid.
one step off of this weird dystopian future where, like, everything we could possibly think of is going to be sold to us, but we never actually own it.
Yeah, but
It's
no.
so scary.
In terms of the safety features, they won't be able to do that because that will violate the safety protocols for cars in
I
like
hope
for federal law.
so
Yeah,
much you're right.
Well, they have.
that's not gonna fly.
Well,
But what
they-
about
the
high beam
camera?
assistant? What about some of these things? Some of these things,
I mean, I don't
Yeah,
think
they're
my car,
minor.
Like, do you?
my car doesn't have high beam assist. It just has high beam.
So, like, you know, the
So-
high beam assist is usually there for like people who are more like elderly and can't.
Yeah.
They can't find the high beams
Yeah.
on the like
Yeah.
buttons and controls like that.
Yeah,
That was something that was given for quality of life.
yeah. But I mean, again, that's an advanced feature, right? That's an
Oh.
advanced feature.
It is an advanced feature, but it's been a primary function for most
Mhm.
cars for a long
Mhm.
time, and they're taking it away.
I mean,
Oh.
yeah.
New Zealand has a different feature set up. Under theirs, remote engine start is part of the features you have to pay for as a service.
Remote engine start. Oh, okay.
Bruh. That used to be the thing where like I have a BMW. Boop, it starts. You know, like what?
As I'm telling you,
My word,
Toyota's the best, bro.
But it's crazy. Like when you look at that, every one of their shops has different things that they're doing as subscription models.
I wonder if it's different things that they can get away with in the country.
Well,
I wonder if that has something to do with it.
what I fear is the same thing as to like what I fear in the video game industry is that people are going to start copying this. So we're gonna have like Toyota come in and just like, so do you
Mhm.
want do you want to have wheels that work in the winter? Well, too bad. You're gonna have to pay extra for that. Or maybe
Ooh,
more
Traction control.
like maybe Dodge comes out and says, "Oh, you want doors to open up by themselves? Too bad, bitch. You got to pay extra money for that." It's just like, wait, what?
You know what though? If I can get winter tires just by changing traction, and it's just by like the click of a button, it's cheaper than actually buying winter tires. Hell yeah, man!
Like
I'm in Canada, man.
the winter tires are gonna have to switch out anyway. But
Yeah.
usually when that happens, people just leave the tires on until
Yeah.
like, maybe like next year when they
You really shouldn't though.
yeah.
So I'm looking through Germany's right now, and the only one that they actually have listed as a trial feature is the online entertainment section.
Okay.
So they do have other ones, but they don't have trials. It's just, do you want to pay by month, year, or yeah, it's 1 month. What is JAR? 1
And
year,
so-
3 year, and unlimited.
And so is it like a lease style where if you pay like a certain target that it's yours completely, or is it like basically you have to subscribe, or as soon as you stop subscribing, that service is canceled?
Okay,
for you?
so what they're doing is you have a BMW account.
Yeah.
And so you have to go into your BMW account and you select it as a service, like you're subscribing to a video game kind of thing.
So
and
it's yeah.
It links with your car. So there's a chance that you could pay for something and your car might not get the receipt order for that and just might not work. And you'd actually have to take it to BMW and you'd have to pay for them to actually make it work for something you already paid for.
Nonsense.
Everybody just buy a Honda, please, and a
Bro.
Toyota, or like a Kia,
You might as well buy a Tesla.
even a Subaru. Oh no, man, don't trust. Elon is another. It's another.
Oh man, that is a mess.
Yeah.
Did you hear about what Elon's father did recently? It is wild.
I don't know.
Oh my. Do you want to hear about it?
Not really. It's
Oh no.
I do.
So
I
wild.
do.
Okay, so his stepdaughter that he has had since she was 4, he's having his second baby with her.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Look up Aaron Musk.
Oh boy.
Yeah. On top of that, Elon has now been found to have 2 more babies coming along the way that was not originally published. It's wild. That family, I don't know what's going on, but they just they
Musk
like making
family.
babies, and sometimes in the weirdest situation.
oh my god. Oh my god. I'm
Smell that? Smells like politics. I love it.
politics,
It
bro.
just-
That's
it came
life.
across
That's
the
life
feed
shit,
and I went,
dude.
"What?" I just saw that and went, bro, what are you doing right now?
What is the decision making going on here? Like these people
right?
either
Like, come on, man. Like, you do you, but bro, try to be like at least normal ish.
something, I don't know. Well, normal's in the eyes of the beholder, especially in the
Yeah, that's
US,
true.
right?
It's,
Like, but
it's just like even knowing someone since they were four,
I
that's
have
a
not
little
heard
weird.
that one.
normalcy is the eyes of the beholder. Like, dude, I
I
don't know
like
where
that.
I don't know where you've been, but like I can announce myself to be another gender right now, and it would be accepted, just like on paper. I could be a spaghetti monster.
Mm,
So can I be a computer?
Yes.
Oh, you guys are gonna get so lambasted by the community. I'm not joining in this minefield. Let me know Last Order is not joining in this minefield of a discussion right
And you know what?
I'll stay elbow distance. I want to be close enough to watch the mess.
Yes.
But that's
I'm
okay
still
because
eating up
we can
popcorn.
Already
we can
signed the
side
waiver.
we can sidetrack all of that for today's sponsor, which is
HelloFresh?
you know what? I should talk to them. Apartment814.com. That is the website for this podcast, for this entertainment that you're getting right here. Every single piece of podcast is going to be on this website at Apartment 814. You can also check up on our articles. There are 5 writers, myself is included. Skeptic is also one of them. One of us is actually making a book. If you want to go ahead and check that out, it is apartment814.com. And as a showcase for one of our articles right now, we have one made by our book author right here. His name is Blackie Chan. Don't ask why he calls himself Blackie Chan. Yes, he is black. Talking about gamers versus China, a pointless battle. And the thing is, he's in China right now, so he has a first view experience of all this. So if you want to check that out, like I said, come on over to Apartment 814. Oh, look whose article is down there. Looks like a certain handsome man's articles here.
Solus?
Skeptic.
Handsome, huh? I wouldn't go that far.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that little segment. It's very short, but
Back to the crushing reality.
yeah, back to what we have to talk about next. A man breaks $1 million. 100 million would have been crazy. $1 million after one day of putting up I guess it's a Kickstarter, but he didn't use Kickstarter. He used his own website for his comics called it's called the Rippaverse. The first issue calling Isom, and there are a ton of people who are right now just upset about that. Like, there are a ton of people upset, but there are even more people who are supporting the crap out of this guy.
Wait, what's the problem?
So, the traditional comic book world right now is a little messed up. It's all about gender politics, whether you're left, right, and they're shoving it out in everyone's faces when people read the comics. So, like, Superman no longer is American. He's, he gave up that status for a green card, so because he's an alien. Or the fact that they're trying to make Spider-Woman a pregnant heroine fighting crime while she's pregnant. They even
crime never sleeps.
even don't give excuses, man. Don't do that.
Did they not learn from Barbara Gordon?
They're even making superheroes and changing the superheroes to suit their narrative. So they had like superheroes that didn't even come out with their comics, and they were announced like 2 to 3 years ago, called like Safe Space, and
yeah,
Wait,
that was
what?
rough.
yeah, one of them was called Safe
stop.
Space.
That's the name of the hero?
Is it
Yes.
And
is a
Snowflake.
superhero called Safe Space? What's
Yeah,
their power?
Yeah. Go ahead.
What do
they
do?
create a safe area around themselves.
Okay, now is there a hero called Safe
I
Word?
need you. I need a tangible
hold on.
explanation.
I'll pull it up and I'll
these
drop it
abilities.
into the chat.
So
Yes.
so like say, and they have a sibling called Snowflake.
Yeah.
So-
Safe space.
Are you
Snowflake.
kidding me?
Yeah.
No. It's literally true. Like it's the New Warriors. I
So when you
believe.
say create a safe space,
Oh my god. Did they want to make a new hero called Echo Chamber as well?
They have there's a guy in the team called Screen Time.
Oh God.
And
Oh my god, is that the one that got his powers from his uncle's internet gas?
yes,
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, the
Yes.
internet makes gas.
I didn't.
Bruh,
I didn't know the internet could be gas.
It's rough, man. Like they pulled the plug really hard on that.
This is why you don't eat Taco Bell, people. That gas is gonna mess you up real bad.
It became so messed up in the comic book universe. Like, people were trying to find entertainment reading these comics. Like, when you think of reading Batman, Superman, or any of the X-Men, their adventures and like who they are is reflected within those adventures, and you can relate to some of these superheroes. Like, for the X-Men, it was, sure, there was like a political thing with representation of like the mutant race and basically like racial stereotypes, or not just stereotypes, I mean like racial like indignation. It was just basically like, hey, look, you're a mutant, fuck you, right? But it was beyond that. There was an adventure, there was a reason, there was like, you could look up to some of these X-Men. I don't know about Wolverine, everybody loves Wolverine, but he's not kind of the best guy you want to look up to.
You look down to him because he's pretty short.
He had a lot of shit going on his shoulders, but people loved Wolverine. At the very
Yeah.
least, he was a character that you can like back up because he's cool, I guess. But I mean, I liked Wolverine. I'm a proponent of like older X-Men. I'm from back in the day, so I really like the '90s cartoons of X-Men. I woke up almost every Saturday just to watch that. But in those shows and in those comics back in those days, even in the early 2000s, they didn't try to shove politics or any kind of like agenda in your face. Nowadays, that's all comics are. And it sucks. It sucks badly. So I can pull up a video.
Oh my
Maybe.
God.
So I still need an explanation on like how safe space powers work.
Oh, I put the article up there from marvel.com.
Oh, okay, let me.
So they're twin psychic, Snowflake, and Safe Space.
Oh yeah, this is the thing. Like, they canceled this line because people went, are you serious?
Be negative. Nice.
Yep, his name was B Negative.
Hey,
Ah,
Trailblazer's cool. Trailblazer's cool, but everything else, like, what? Really?
Well, Trailblazer, she's just Dora. She's Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, but still.
so
Why not? She has a magic backpack.
putting on
But
screen
why?
right now.
That-
Just
She
show,
can take it off?
just showing
Did someone
you,
else
like,
is Trailblazer?
It's a pocket dimension though, so that might be interesting. See, she's the real safe space. Holy sh! What the heck?
Oh
Yeah, it's just like,
man,
bro, what is happening?
So like, Trailblazer, she's an interesting one, right? For one thing, she has like a never-ending backpack that can pull anything out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So they also try to represent the body and the figure and her race, because that's
Mhm.
apparently important. So if you do not like her body figure, which is big, you're fat phobic, and if you say anything about her race, you're also racist. I don't know how many Superman or super people or superheroes are of that body type on purpose.
Have you not seen Vikings?
I've seen Vikings. They
Yeah.
are big in
Kingpin?
muscular fashion.
Yeah.
Usually have some big shoulders and arms and chests too. Like,
Right.
yeah, they're carrying some weight on them, but it,
They have muscle. Like, a Viking has
Yeah.
has muscle. Even if they're fat, they have muscle
But-
under that belly.
it's
But she-
lived muscle.
Kingpin.
She has a magical backpack. Who cares?
That's that's what they said. That's exactly what they said. She has a magical backpack. Shut the fuck up.
I like her. I don't care. I like her. She has a magical backpack. I like her design. It's unique. It's different. I
mean,
like
Like,
it.
don't get me wrong, I
That's
don't
fine.
mind any of this existing. I really don't.
Right.
It's just instead of pushing very specific words and terms at people, just make a good comic.
Right.
just-
Yeah.
Throw it out there and be like, hey, check this out, man. We're just giving this a go, see if people like it, and like the character's awesome. We'll keep making it. But
Yeah.
instead, like, when you read through there's very coercive style of speech in there, and you can kind of see the subtext to where they're trying to go, and it just feels very strange. Like, why not just make a really good story and just
Yeah.
give it
See,
to us?
Screen Time is an interesting name too. Like I find that interesting, but like Snowflake and Safe Space, come on.
Oh yeah, here we go. He was exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet game.
What the heck does that even mean?
I
have
don't
no
know. I
idea.
wish.
Viking.
I wish I knew.
Calcor Vikings were still Vikings, even if they were like 4 feet tall. They will kill you.
True.
They will kill you.
That's true. Just not the ones in Valhalla though, because those were not. Anyway, yeah.
I mean,
So-
their character design, other than their character designs, right? Like, it doesn't really matter their character design. Superheroes look goofy anyway, but like,
Screen Time looks interesting. I think I like Screen Time and Trailblazer, but Safe Space and Snowflake, just the fact that their names are like that, and they're like,
Yeah,
they're trying to empower the negative of the word. That's what they were trying to do.
it's just so weird because they're so, I don't want to say monochromatic, but they're very much like, there's nothing really distinct about them. What are they trying to do? Like invoke the Wonder Twins kind of feel? Like,
So they were giving off a lot of confusing feels when people looked at Safe Space and Snowflake, because they already had like weird sibling relationships in the comic books that was hinted before, but now it's like, oh, we doing some Game of Thrones shit here, aren't we? This yeah, no. I don't like that. But Snowflake and Safe Space, they really did want to try and empower that word. They really did. But let's talk about the Rippaverse. Now,
so, yeah.
the Rippaverse.
Do you guys know who the Rippaverse is based around? Like, who kind of popped it up?
do they have a magical backpack in there first of all though?
I
I'm kidding.
I have no
No.
idea.
I don't know.
So, the Rippaverse is by a guy named Eric July.
Yes.
A lot of why there's a lot of stuff happening is because he's generally a conservative, outspoken person.
He's libertarian.
Yeah, like he's more on that libertarian side. I actually have been subscribed to him for years because he's very interesting when he talks about comics and his love for them.
Right.
And he's very no nonsense about it. I think I linked his channel if you're curious about his content. He's very straightforward. He likes talking about a lot of these different things, and he's very big on having canon matter and having a character that's good for the sake of being a good character,
Right.
and not just like whatever their specific identities or politics are. He doesn't like that.
Yeah, sorry.
And-
Sorry, I'm just gonna add this in there. So basically, what Eric July, like on a side note, Eric July was really upset with how, because I was trying to explain it and it wasn't explained the best way, but comics today is all about gender politics and people's agendas being put into the comics, where all you're doing is getting shouted out for, like, because this woman is more powerful than the man, they make they make like the Hulk be comparatively weaker than She-Hulk, or how the suit of Batman looks better when a woman is wearing it, kind of thing.
I hated that so much. I hated that line so much.
So they're all cut from the same cloth. That's what's going on. They don't have like a superhero that just wants to do good. They have a superhero that's only doing good because there's an agenda behind it. And Eric July just didn't want that anymore. But go ahead,
Yeah,
Solus.
he's done with that.
Go ahead, Solus.
No, that's the whole thing. He's really just done with it, and it's pretty wild. He's having outlandishly good success. I'm actually posting an image of their actual current revenues right now. They're at 3.2 mil.
Wow.
Yeah, and they still have 57 days left on. Like, they are so vastly beyond their percentages. It's pretty wild.
That's amazing, actually. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I bought the I also bought a comic. because
Yeah, I mean the art looks fantastic. Like
Yeah.
just looking
Oh,
at the
yeah.
cover
Oh.
art, it actually looks
Do you know-
really good.
you know who the artist is? The
Hmm.
artist is an ex-Marvel artist. And the
Oh, gotcha.
people who are writing are ex-Marvel and DC writers that were kicked out or retired, well, more or less kicked out because they said that their views isn't, I don't know, progressive enough. So
Ugh.
when they heard Eric was doing all this, they were just like, okay, let's jump on board, make a project out of this. And let me tell you, this isn't a regular fundraiser. Eric already had everything set up in a warehouse. Like, people are going to get their comics. Like, 100%. He even showed proof of that. So everyone's going to get their comics. In what is it, like 57 days? In 57 days, he's going to ship it all out. Gonna say it, the She-Ra show was really bad, not because She-Ra was the main character, but because Kevin James doesn't know how to write female leads.
Oh man,
And
it was
that-
rough. I watched a little, and it was just
I think we
It's just
talked
rough.
Solus, we talked about that. Like,
yeah.
how-
It just doesn't feel good.
yeah.
Like I don't mind having female leads. In fact, I love having female leads. Heck, most of the time when I play an MMO or whatever, I play the female character.
Right.
It comes down to write a character well that we care about.
Right.
Like Atomic Blonde. That's a good female lead.
They have a whole bunch of good females that have taken the lead and had their own comics in
Yeah.
in Marvel, DC, and in the X-Men. Like, nobody fucks with Storm.
Yeah, I was gonna say Storm's amazing.
Yeah, nobody fucks with Storm.
Yeah.
She's like one of my favorite girls in all of like Marvel.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel sorry for the one that came out with the original X-Men. Oof.
Oof.
But I have a thing against Halle Berry though. Ugh.
She was in a white wig. It's okay.
I mean, Halle Berry Storm. Besides, I love the comic book version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the character overall. It's a great character. My favorite's Rogue, by the way. But,
Right.
Of
but
course.
those two are a great pair all the time.
Mhm.
You know what? Their character arcs, their struggles had nothing to do with like, well, not just them. But like when they were pointed out to being just women, it wasn't shove it up in the face and ass of men and male stereotypes, right? It was them just being really good. Like, Storm took over the X-Men when Scott Summers left and basically became kind of a bitch because Jean Grey went off and became the Phoenix and blew up. And Storm took over because Scott wasn't there to lead. So Scott tried to come back, tried to take lead, and Storm was just, nope, you missed your chance. Fuck off. Like, either you're going to join the team and follow me, or you're gonna have to earn the trust of everybody in the team, every
Yep.
single person. And
I mean,
it's-
there was a time where the team split with the gold team led by Storm and the blue team led by Cyclops.
right, and
Yeah.
there was even a point where there was like a panel I remember where Storm said, you need to earn all of that back, which means that she wasn't trying to block him away of being a leader again, but she didn't think he deserved it.
Right.
there.
He need to prove himself again.
Right.
Yeah, Cyclops is actually the worst. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
he is actually the
He's
worst.
the worst. Yeah.
And you know what? I respect and I love Storm.
Comic
Just-
Book Girl 13
just
would say
like- just
something
like
about
that.
that.
But like,
She loves him.
what we have here is a guy who did something that the comic book industry wasn't able to do for like 10 years. This man put out this fundraiser on day one and got $1 million. Right now he's at 3 million, right? That's the current one. that you're showing.
That's the current one I just snipped off a second ago.
Right. So right now he's at 3.2 million. Day one he was at
Nice.
1 million, and it kept growing. People were just, and he was on national television. People were calling him like a person because of his views and where he was politically. They were saying he was he was part of a hate group. People all over the place saying that this guy is just, he's just wrong in every types of ways. He's every single kinds of phobic you can think of. He's only promoting hate speech within. He's probably going to promote hate speech within his comics, and they're all coming up with lies, like saying that he probably doesn't have anything ready for any of this. How do you know if this isn't a scam? He comes out with a video with a warehouse full of everything ready, and told everybody to shut the fuck up.
That man knows the stuff. Like he's really smart in business. He's there. Like,
Right.
I really like to see it too.
Oh, and PayPal is also against him. So
I mean, ugh.
PayPal got also the orders part of that campaign, and they're holding his like $1.2 million for like 60 days, and they have
What?
to recheck it again and recheck it again after 60 days to make sure
What?
that it's not falsified. And he had to go on and say, hey, whatever way you can, just tell them like, hey, this is actually me sending money to this guy. And he has to get a team of lawyers because PayPal was doing some bullshit.
Well, if they want to play that game, make them where they have to pay for it.
I
Like
think
make them have to feel that cinch on their waistline, you know? Because it's like,
yeah.
stop playing politics, man. You are a money service, and if you keep playing this game, you're just going to limit the amount of people that are going to deal with you.
Right.
And that's just really dumb. Like, you can't afford to keep doing that over time.
Yeah.
That eventually is going to shut you down.
And it's
They
not
really can.
it's not like any other business doesn't do business with PayPal with millions of dollars involved. They get their money right away. But why
Mhm.
why Eric July? Why this guy?
It's like it was said, it's the politics. The politics are getting involved. PayPal's known for getting into politics, like a political
So
differences and crap.
he has
Can
to
we-
get
I-
he has
I-
to get
Yeah,
litigious.
I want to get back to that point where we can just have differences. Like,
Yeah.
everyone can
Yeah.
have differences, and you can just go, yeah, man, you believe how you believe, I believe how I am. Cool. You want to go play a video game? Neat. Let's go do that now. Like, why does your political opinions have to mean you have to destroy them because they don't believe what you do? Why has it become a religion to people?
I think I don't know who said this, but someone once said that people want confrontation, and because we're living in a so and so time of peace, is what they said. People just want confrontation for the sake of confrontation. I don't know how believable that is, but with how much fucking hate and arguments are going around, I'm starting to kind of believe it.
Some people are bored.
I don't know. There are people who are upset because, right, like, politics, right? Because you're on the right and they're on the left, and they can't just talk it out at a bar, drinking, saying, "Hey, I believe in this. Hey, I believe in this. Hey, it may differ, but we could still be friends." None of that's
Yeah.
happening.
There's always a common ground. You know what I mean?
It's like
It's a funny thing.
yeah, it's like when somebody is an atheist and somebody is highly religious, but they both like the same fighting game. They both like cars. They both like going out and rock climbing. They could be best friends, but then they find out, oh, you're atheist? That's a problem to me, bro. How's that
Super
a
weird,
problem?
man. I mean, we're all human beings, It's come on, man. We're all humans. We're all sharing the same experience.
Yeah.
You believe what you're gonna believe. It doesn't affect you. Like,
And yet,
come on, chill.
here we are with people trying to put their agendas in comics. A man had to go out of his way to say, like, listen, I don't want all that. I'm going to create a traditional comic. He gets the biggest success any indie comic has ever seen, ever. And now people are trying to attack him. And what's funny is that they're doing the thing where they try to look up his past, right? They can't find anything.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, he's pretty clean, and he's been very clean.
Like, he had some trouble in his childhood, but who hasn't, right? Like, oh, he went to juvie. Oh, okay. So what? Like,
Yeah, I think
31 of my cousins went to juvie. They're fine. So,
yeah, I think the previous comic that had the record for beating out the comic industry was Ethan Van Sciver's Cyber Frog. Blood and Honey was at 538,000.
530. That's not bad.
Yeah, and that was one of the most successful independent campaigns that's ever existed. And for Eric to come out and just 6 times it, just
Yeah.
off the cuff, that's pretty amazing.
He's been compared to the #1 like black comic book industry, who had to go to Shark Tank to get like a $500,000 investment from those people in Shark Tank, with 30% of the cut being taken away for whatever sales they get. Now, if you look at that, that just looks like they're getting shafted, right? Like if they look at that deal, and Eric July makes way more money. He in total that black company, I think that black comic book company made like $2 million in like a year, and Eric made $2 million in a month. People are just tired, man. They just want a comic. That's all they really want. That's all it is. The bubble burst. People want comics. I want my comic back. I think IDW is doing okay.
think just
Yeah,
wants his
IDW's
comic
been
book
doing
back.
all right, but Marvel and DC have been doing very poor.
Yeah.
DC has been trying to sell off their properties, and there's nobody that wants to buy them.
Oh God.
Funny enough,
And there's a big rumor going around behind the scenes that Disney has thought about selling partial rights to pieces of Marvel.
Oh no.
what's
So that's I don't know if they're going to do it. They may be kind of going, you know what? Let's see what we can do and make more prolific movies. But honestly, there's a chance that they might just take some of the more obscure works and start just throwing them out there, which could be good if we get an independent group that gets some of the IPs that
True.
no one really knows about. We might see something neat.
it's
Mhm.
it's so bad that like Star Wars, which billions and billions and billions of dollars in terms of like a series, comic, toys, movies, all that stuff. They tried to put out a lightsaber toy, and they wanted it to be crowdfunded for $5,000, right? They just needed 5,000 backers, I should say, 5,000 backers. They didn't even make it to 2,000. They made it to like 13 or 1,200, and that just shows like where the industry is going. Honestly, people are just they don't care, or they just don't want to even go deal with it anymore. They thought that Star Wars was one of the most popular, was like their popular movies, and people loved it. But then, with so many people shouting out how much they hated it, they ignored it. Then they're like, "Hey guys, crowdfund this," and it couldn't even make its goal at all.
The new Star Wars, I just feel like they're kind of vapid. There's no substance to them.
Yeah, it's
They
very
look
shallow.
visually amazing,
Mhm.
but when you really break down the story, you're like, but why?
Right.
And they broke down the classic characters for what? Like
Yeah.
they totally destroyed the legacy and the classic characters for what reason?
Yeah, it's like there's no reverence to it.
Yeah, and there was no payout either. There was no payout. They just got broken down, and you expect, okay, maybe this is gonna be like a big scene for the new. No, there was no such payout. So it was like a sacrifice in vain for what?
I don't know what's going on. It's a lot of the U.S. has a bunch of like mixed up confusion of how people feel, but in general sense, I think places like Hollywood, definitely Hollywood, bigger industries like AAA video games, but we could talk about that later. But I would say like Hollywood, all that, and bigger industries, they kind of just don't know what people really want. Like, you can scoop up all these people from DC and Marvel all you want. If their writing is horrible, and that was the thing, from what has been told, I think Eric July actually did. If you go on his channel, I think he did a interview with somebody from the industry. A guy got fired and was replaced by someone cheaper, and that person who was working for cheaper was like someone who's like an, if I could say this, SJW, right? Like we all know who they are, social justice warriors, right? But that's what they kept doing in the industry. They kept getting people who had like these really glowing progressive ways of thinking, and they reflected it in the works that they were creating. But it was like the sacrifice of all the people who just who were fans of these products. Like, when's the last time Star Wars came out with something good? And I would say, maybe Boba Fett. I don't know. I really didn't care too much about Boba Fett. I cared
I
more.
think some of the early
Yeah.
part of Boba Fett wasn't too bad.
Early
Yeah,
part
see,
of
the- See, the thing is with the new movies, it's not like it's like obviously pushing it, and it wasn't even like that. It was just shallow. It was very shallow. Like there's no depth to it.
Right. Like the
Mm.
Mandalorian was good.
Mandalorian was good, yeah, but like the movies were like there's absolute. It's all about the visual spectacle, but there's like nothing underneath.
These people don't know how to make. They don't have good writing.
They don't have good writing at all, and like they destroyed the legacy characters to try and uplift their own, but their own characters, they didn't even do that. They couldn't even do that.
And have you heard about Ring of Power? Is it Rings of Power or just
Ring of-
Power?
Yeah,
It's
that
Ring
one
Power.
looks rough.
So
The
like
TV series, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why they're doing that.
so what's your thoughts on that real quick on Ring of Power? Clone Wars was good towards the end and Mando was super good. Yeah, Mandalorian
Oh,
was
I
good.
agree, Cal. Yeah, I agree totally
Yeah.
for both
I-
of those.
I think the biggest problem that I see about the Rings of Power is that it doesn't seem like they give a crap about Tolkien's world.
Mhm.
And
Oh, they don't.
it feels like they're just trying to throw things at the wall and just yell at you if you don't like it. And well, why don't we look back at someone that did races and genders and all that really well? Game of Thrones. Every different group was represented very well through different groups, different backgrounds. They felt alive, realistic. And then you look at something like Rings of Power, and it just looks like it's just a hodgepodge of just whoever they casted.
Yeah.
And it just feels weird because you're like, okay, I'm willing to believe what's going on, but explain to me how this works out. Like how does this function? How is this all coming together? Because there's a part of your brain that's just not going to quite click it all together. Because you're like, but how does that work? And it's a strange thing that I just don't think they really have thought through.
Mhm.
They're just throwing it at you,
Yeah.
and then it crumbles.
Yeah,
And
let's
it's
like, oh,
sad.
let's give them something new and innovative. It's like, okay, but can you make a strong narrative? Can't you
Yeah.
focus on the narrative first instead of
And
just giving us new innovation?
Now, isn't the entirety of Rings of Power based off of like short stories around the Silmarillion?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the what it's based on.
like their source material seems like it's probably going to be very thin.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I mean, the Silmarillion itself, I don't know if you read it, but the Silmarillion itself, for me personally, was the weakest of all the Tolkien books. Like, compared to, like, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings. The Silmarillion really is more like the backstory kind of thing, written for lore more than anything. There wasn't too much deep writing into it. It was more of like a history lesson. So I don't know what they're planning to do.
No.
Like-
I've heard news that they've been misquoting Tolkien. I think they've been misquoting him and try to twist what he says for their own like means of why they're changing up so much of the Lord of the Rings universe. And they
I'm not bummed with it. Yeah.
and they're doing it like I think they really were changing up so many things. They're like, this is a different era of Lord of the Rings, and I can't describe how different they were trying to make the world for some sort of agenda that they were making. Again, it's always something in terms of agenda for Lord of the Rings, but it's not looking good.
Here's my thing. Like, let me play this off, everybody. Now, the world they're building and all the thoughts they had, just remove the branding of Lord of the Rings and just say based on the idea of, and just go for it. Make your own world with it and just like, this is our reimagining of the idea of this. And just let it be.
Yeah.
Do you think people would be more accepting of it if they just said, hey, you know what? We just really want to give this a go.
But honestly, though, no one's gonna watch it if that's the case.
No, they are gonna
Yeah.
watch. Everyone's gonna watch the first episode.
No. What I'm saying is that
If they took the branding.
if they took away the branding, not as many people at all are gonna watch it.
Yeah.
The pull is from the Lord of the Rings branding. That's why people are going, oh, what is this? Oh no, what are they gonna do? Let's find out. What are they gonna do? How are they gonna mess us up? You know what I mean? But if it's just like some rando series, like, doesn't
Yeah,
interest me.
I mean, the name
There's
itself
no,
is gonna attract people.
there's no intrigue. There's no intrigue if they remove the branding. So
Honestly, I feel like Lord of the Rings, when it comes out, is going to be just the same as how I felt about watching Netflix's Cowboy Bebop.
Ooh,
The elements are going to be there. It has what it needs to be successful, and it's going to just go off the deep end for no reason.
I don't know what's going on with like our entertainment today. Professor Token just wanted to write multiple languages and decided, well, what if there was a lot of walking?
Oh, in like 20 pages of describing grass.
Also, they try to do this thing, right? They have a black elf in one of the trailers for Rings of Power, right? Now, I was talking on Twitter. I know I shouldn't have talked on Twitter, right? And there was somebody who was like really for that, like, yeah, black elf, and I had to sit there and like, elves aren't supposed to be black, right? And they're just like, why won't you let this representation? I'm like, because Tolkien said that elves were fair skinned for a reason. There is no way that they would be black, right? Like, if you're going to have like a black elf, why not just come up with a different race of creature?
Yeah. Or a different world.
Different.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a Tolkien work.
Right.
Different tribalism thing. Something.
Yeah.
Like, give some reason why it's not a high elf, per se.
Yeah.
Make it a different racial group.
Right.
Make it like along the lines of a drow or something. Go for that line. Like,
Right.
I think people would be willing to accept it if they just gave a lore-centric reason for it. Just give people a line and be like, "Hey, you know what? We're trying to vary the cast." Okay, cool.
If
Give me
he's
a
half
good
elf,
idea
it would
of
work.
why it works.
Yeah, if he's half elf, it would totally work. Honestly, if
Oh,
he
no.
was half elf, it would totally work.
No, like, I didn't put that in there because like I didn't want to sit there and feel like make them shame, because the person who I talk, I'm pretty sure on Twitter was also black, so it wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to keep up with what Tolkien was trying to represent in his in his art, in his writing, and what he wanted to represent in his book, and yet they're trying to change it every slip of the way. Like, dwarves have a kingdom, they have a patriarchy, not a monarchy, and yet they changed that to suit their narratives in this. Where now
Women don't have a beard in this thing.
I know.
Tolkien specifically said female dwarves have beards.
It's hard to tell them apart, supposedly. Even Gimli said so.
right, they kept saying it too.
Yeah, even for dwarven men have a hard time differentiating between men and women. I was like, oh my god.
And yet, no, they didn't want to do that. They turned one of the primary elves into a badass. Her being a badass, because women gotta be independent and need no man. But
See, if you have to sacrifice artistic vision and lore to accommodate for representation and agendas, that's when the stories and the movies and everything go like lower in quality. You have to stay consistent and like respect the artistic vision, respect the lore, respect the world that was created by the original. If you're gonna use that world, respect it and use it properly. There's other ways to cast like for more representation, but if you're gonna say, oh, all of a sudden there's a black high elf, like that's not consistent with the world. You can cast him as a different kind of person. Like I said, like a half elf between a human and a high elf would totally work.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
It totally works. And it doesn't make the person less of a character.
Mhm.
Changes
In fact,
his
it makes
background
them
a little.
have an interesting side story of, ooh,
Mhm.
I want to know more about this person, because
Yeah.
they clearly are going to have a very interesting raising.
Yeah, exactly.
people can come up with better fan fictions than this, and I'm so confused how Hollywood is having a hard time finding actual writers that can make good stories. I don't know.
Yeah, the quality of writers is just, oh god, I don't know what's going on now, but the writers, I don't even know if there's a writers guild anymore, but just the quality of writing has gone
They're-
down so bad.
Well, I was saying they're not picking people from the Writers Guild. They're just picking people who
Yeah, that's true.
who will work cheap,
They're
and-
picking the leftovers.
right, and represent something.
Yeah.
And they think that would be more popular with the fans, which
Yeah.
it's not. I can't even say that with a straight face. And you know what? Because we're talking like this, right? We're saying like we have a problem with the fact that they're not bearding women, or that there's a black elf in there, and but oh, lo and behold, a black man is saying that. Oh my God! It's not like we wouldn't be against it. It's just that not in this setting. Like,
yeah, it's not consistent with the world that Tolkien made.
Right.
It's not a Tolkien like it's not what do you call this? It's not truth in Tolkien's world. So
like try
And-
telling that to somebody on Twitter.
Well, and the thing is,
Well,
you
I
have to
mean-
when the work was written, like
Mhm.
that was his world, the way he saw it, the way he
Yeah.
wrote it. Like, and
Yeah.
it doesn't mean it's a lesser work. It just means that's his artistic vision that he had at that time.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
a period of time work. And
Yeah.
if you're sitting there thinking you know better than it, well, sorry to say, but it's one of the works that's lasted a test of time. And
And,
honestly, we're just going to forget most of what people are adding around it.
if people want to make a story with their own character, make your own story. Don't base it off of already an established work. Like, make your own. Like, otherwise, to sacrifice the legacy, to sacrifice the consistency, the lore, everything, just really honestly to push agendas, then that never leads to anything good quality wise for writing ever.
Well, and who is it really for audience wise? Because
Exactly,
the people
yeah.
that are getting enraged about little stupid stuff, they're never really emotionally engaged in anything.
Yeah,
They're going to get mad at the next thing and then the next thing. So they're not going to be an audience for them to recoup that money.
right.
It's very awkward.
And it's just optics for them, like
That's
for those
small.
type of fans. It's just all optics.
Just a small minority of people are really
Yeah.
up in arms about this, and they're really loud. They're really loud, and the people
Yeah.
who are just casually saying like, "No, man, this is what we're thinking." They're not as loud. They're just not. They're just casually trying to make conversation, try to talk with reason. But the loud minority wants to talk and throw emotion in it,
I-
and
Yeah.
it becomes illogical. And that's who it's for, apparently.
Yeah, because I get it. Like, equality, representation. Yeah, that stuff is important. I agree. That's an important agenda to push. We should all strive for equal treatment for people. But there's other platforms for that. There are multiple discussions. There's multiple rallies. There's so many other platforms. Why does every form of media suddenly have to become a political or agenda pushing platform? That's what I don't understand. Like, this thing that was created for entertainment and to push for writers who want to tell a story, to tell an adventurous story, to tell
I want
an
to
intriguing story, a mystery story, something like that, to pour their passions out. How did it all of a sudden become, I'm gonna push this agenda?
I want to show something. So this is the X-Men intro, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play the sound, obviously, but bunch of superheroes riding in a jet, right? And you guys will catch up. But when it gets into the intro, you know pretty much what's going on with an X-Men. It has no it's not 100% not with politics, but it's mostly about the story of these very special people and their superpowers. And when you get into the show and we watch it, like, they don't skip a beat out on it when it comes to the intro too, because it's going to pop up sooner or later. But there is a standing. There is like a political standing in there. See? Like, getting, like, they have giant robots chasing them. They're being, like, really hated on for being X-Men, for being mutants. It's a
Being
race of
different.
people for being exactly.
Yeah.
And they have cops and stuff. Like, this is more than just mutant versus mutant. It's a whole cavalcade of stories coming together, right? And it's not just the fact that they're mutants and they're basically being seen as a different race and being seen different. They have to hide themselves in daily lives, but they don't push it into our face.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the story, and
Yeah.
it blends so well with that story.
Yeah.
One episode they're going into the jungle to stop like Magneto's plan of activating a volcano or something, but part of that they go to a little village where mutants are seen as gods or something like that.
And sorry, let me clarify what I said earlier because it might have sounded a little bit off. But like, what I mean by like, pushing it, if you want to create a work, like, fictional work or something that does push an important agenda to you, by all means, go ahead. But if you're going to take an established like property and bend it to your desires to push something like that, and that has nothing to do with the actual original work, then, you know what I mean?
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, like I hate that. That's the thing that I hate the most. Like, leave those alone. Like, make your own new thing. Make your own new story. Make your own new characters. Whatever. Just make your own new thing.
This is just a guess, but I believe that I could be wrong, obviously, that they're doing this with famous properties because they want to push that agenda. Obviously, it could seem that way, but
yeah, but then that means it just means that they're not respecting the actual work itself. They're using it as a vehicle for their own like desires, for their own.
There's a reason why I have to say it's like it could be just me being wrong about it, but it just feels that way.
Yeah, but there are definitely people that do that. Like, like that's a very valid argument. They're doing it because that's going to reach the most audience. But at the same time, that just means that they're not writing because they love the material. They love they're using that material because they know it'll have a big reach. And that's never going to push any good stories out. That's never going to push any stories that are actually going to be faithful to the work.
Right.
To the legacy of the work. That's never gonna be good.
This is kind of the reason why I think, like, if you think about the comic book industry, people and fans have to do shit for themselves. They gotta make it themselves. Like, they'll do it themselves. And it's the same thing with video games, where indie creators and people who don't agree with the standards of like modern gaming today, like when that one EA ex CEO and now is working for Unity said, if you don't have microtransactions in your game, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So that was a thing. They're leeching off a good name of the property. We all know how I feel about leeches. Well, I get what you mean. It's they're just taking something that had such a good build for decades. They're quickly destroying it with their shit.
Yeah, no, they're just using it for for their own like ends.
Like Doctor.
That's all it is.
Like, when's the last time you've heard about Doctor Who? Any new episodes of Doctor Who? Anybody hear anything? Because it's been a
long time.
It's been like over 3 years, maybe.
Felt more than that.
It does feel more than that, but
after they rewrote the entirety of the backstory of the Doctor and just destroyed it, yeah, that was it. Like, I've seen people that were lifelong fans of it just go,
yep,
okay, I'm done.
I was introduced to the Doctor maybe like more than 10 years ago because of a friend was a lifelong fan. He calls me and he says, "What is this shit? I'm literally crying." And I'm like, "What's going on?" He was like, "Dude, that last episode." And I'm like, what do you and I watched it and I was mortified.
Yeah.
I was mortified.
It's just so bad. It was not respectful to the idea behind the property. It's just so bad.
I was like, what is this shit? I'm like, the Timeless Child. What the fuck?
Yeah, the Timeless Child was honestly one of the biggest mistakes, because you don't want to, if you have a mysterious character, never tell the whole story. Let the story around them be what explains them.
Like, I couldn't.
And if you go into the entire backstory of the finite everything, there's no more mystique. It's already solved. It's done. And the character has less room to grow because now you've explained them all together.
Like, people would always throw out, "Oh, you had a problem with her because she was a woman," and that's. I was like, no. Doctor Who being a woman is probably one of the most exciting things ever. It's the fact that they just wrote her wrong. They wrote her bad, and her story throughout those 2 seasons just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
She also
and
wasn't a
worse.
fan starting out.
She wasn't.
Apparently, she didn't really know a lot about Doctor Who, and that enthusiasm really never was portrayed on screen, at least at
No.
first.
Not at
Yeah.
first,
And
yeah.
I think that's kind of the thing, because like if you watch Tenet or Matt on there and you just like, geez, man, these guys, they're enjoying themselves being there as the Doctor.
Yep.
Like there's rarely a moment where you're like, yeah, they phoned it in. No, every time there was that magic of them wanting to do it, that childlike wonder of action.
Yep. Yep. I mean,
I just never got that out of Jodie.
she's not even a bad actor. Like
No,
I said,
she's great.
she's a great actor. It's the writing and their direction. It was just oof. Favorite character in Doctor Who were women. I love Matt Smith and Tennant, but Donna was my favorite. Donna is everyone's favorite. I love Donna. She had her own spin-off show. That's how much people loved her. I don't know who would be my favorite though. I am a fan of Amy Pond, but that's only because she's the.
I mean, Karen Gillan though.
Yeah, I know, but like, maybe I had a thing for redheads. I have no idea. I'm a fan. I love Donna though. I really do. It's just now nothing has been talked about Doctor Who. Doctor Who has lost pretty much its major fan base, and nobody was willing to give Doctor Who a chance when it comes to TV runnings and TV shows. Like now it's another dormant state. You're probably gonna have to wait another like 20 to 50 years for them to revive it and actually bring it back. Like hell, I don't want to wait that long, but Jesus, they're gonna have to like somehow erase everything the Timeless Child did somehow.
50 years, I'll be 89. I don't know if I'll be around.
Like it was a build up on a story that was consistent for 50 plus years.
Yeah.
And it took
Yeah.
2 seasons to destroy it.
Yeah, it was a fast crash, man. You can see definitely different writers.
Capaldi became like even Capaldi becoming the Doctor. Like he was kind of like boring, but I still watched it. Right, at least Capaldi had an adventure that I could follow. And you know,
Honestly, the Master was the best part of his season.
right. Like I have like he's not my favorite Doctor, but listen, Capaldi isn't the worst Doctor.
Sync.
What's up?
I must go. It's late.
Gotcha. Don't worry,
Okay.
we can take care of the rest. Cause the last thing I should really ask, honestly, what y'all think about gaming culture right now? You can give.
I told you my last opinion.
Yeah.
It's still in the negative, but it's improving over these past few years.
Okay. All right. And have a good night, Scap.
Night.
No.
Peace out.
Tell the wife I said hi.
Take care, man.
Same question to y'all.
Floor is yours. Last order.
No, why? What do you mean by what do you mean by gaming culture, though? What do you mean?
So to give you an example, and we've been talking
Mhm.
a little bit about this, hints there, hits here, but I really do think that the indie crowd is keeping gaming kind of like interesting for me, whereas the AAA scene has been getting a little sketchy, I should say.
I'm telling you guys, you really need. Do you guys like open world RPGs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really need to give Assassin's Creed Odyssey a try.
I stopped playing Assassin's Creed after they ruined it.
Just try Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Is it gonna feel like Assassin's Creed?
It is a story of its own. Of course, like the modern story is still connected to the whole Assassin's Creed thingy.
So you could still stab people and they
yeah,
die?
but this time with a broken spearhead. It's really interesting.
So
It's really
so it's not Assassin's Creed.
you're a Spartan essentially.
So it's not Assassin's Creed.
It's it's better than Assassin. It's the evolution of Assassin's Creed.
That is an opinion you were having.
It is. It's a no. The thing is, like, it's an opinion shared by even a lot of like hardcore AC fans. Like,
So-
the original formula of Assassin's Creed, like especially like from like Altair to the Ezio trilogy to like even like Assassin's Creed 3, it just doesn't really. It's not what people are looking for in the modern era of gaming. Like, sure, there's
So-
still like the old. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's my problem with that.
Mhm.
I thought AAA sucks. Indie games like Vampire Survivors and Power Wash Simulators where it at. Yeah, the indie.
Oh
indie
God,
crowd is-
Power Wash Simulator, no.
Man, I was playing that with my son recently.
Oh man.
Oh, cute.
my opinion on Assassin's Creed is that maybe the general consensus says that, you know, what we had in Assassins before, people were not looking for it, and I'm like, but then it's not an Assassin's game, because
Well, I mean,
what made Assassin's Creed is partially because of the system that they were actually evolving on it, but
yeah.
and
Uh,
the other half was the fact that the story was good.
Okay, let me counter argue. Would you consider Final Fantasy 14, 15, and looks like 16, 7 remake? Would you consider those Final Fantasy games?
No, I guess you're right about that, because
There we go,
they
right?
are Final Fantasy games. They have the number and everything.
Yeah, they're completely different from the original games. They're
But
not
they're-
menu driven anymore.
There are things within those games that really tells me that they are a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
Whereas something like Black Flag feels nothing like an Assassin's game because you're mostly on the fucking boat. You're a pirate.
But
So-
sea
so-
shanties, though.
It
Sea
veered,
shanties. No.
it veered away from what I thought an Assassin's game was in terms of an Assassin's game, where
Mhm.
I loved like being able to sneak around and assassinate my target, walk
Yeah,
around
you
in crowds and just
Yeah.
blend in with them, or
Yeah.
have Da Vinci hit on Ezio Auditore, and Ezio's like,
Oh
"Bro,
man,
are you
you're
gay?"
yeah, you're trading Da Vinci for Hippocrates, Socrates, all the great Greek, like, you know, like
I mean- I mean,
philosophers.
that sounds great and all, but I feel as though it went from being like an Assassin's game to another game. Like, it doesn't. I'm not even saying it's going to be a bad game. I stopped at Revelations, where
Revelations
or
is amazing.
or
I
four.
stopped it too.
It was when
Revelations was
it was when
amazing.
Desmond Miles quote unquote died. So
No, that was 3. That's 3.
that was 3. Okay, that was 3.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I stopped there because I thought the story was officially done. I thought their roadmap was soon we'll get a futuristic Assassin's Creed where we're walking around in Desmond's world.
Yeah,
and-
that was supposed to happen, but then they decided to kill off Desmond in 3 for some unknown reason.
And then like there's so many changes after that as well. And
Yeah.
it turned more of a like another style of an RPG. It kind of
But
like, I'm not saying it looks bad or it
Mm.
might even play good. It might even play
You-
well. It's just
yeah,
that's not my Assassin's game.
it is still very much Assassin's Creed game because the focus is still the relics of Eden, like the pieces of Eden. That's still very much the focus. The focus is still on finding out who the precursors are,
I
like the ones that came before it.
I
That's the big
fe-
focus.
I feel somewhere
think-
along the line their writing got a little far fetched there. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, the modern storyline is crap now. Like honestly, even like towards 3 storyline where Desmond dies, that was stupid. That was really stupid. And ever since then, the modern storyline is crap. But the overarching like elements are still there. But what's really good about Odyssey is the actual historic story that they tell
I mean,
in the game. It's
that's
so
that's
good.
fun and all. I
Mhm.
won't I will not do it on the principle that they basically turned Assassin's Creed into some cavalcade of like this. The show must keep going while destroying the story
Oh,
along the way.
What? But what do you mean? What are you talking about? But like, yeah, I know.
They
this
they
is the
fucked
modern
no they
story.
fucked up the story, bro.
They did.
They fucked up the story, and
They
I,
really did,
and
but
because
nobody
of that-
cares about the modern story.
like well then I'm glad for you guys who are playing the game for the gameplay's
Desmond is
sake.
dead.
For the gameplay, but half the reason why I played Assassin's Creed was the story.
Yeah,
I think it's an Ubisoft thing, man. So
It is.
it's how Ubisoft does modern games.
Yeah.
It follows the Ubisoft formula to a T. And if you like that formula, honestly, you'll probably love the game. But if you're tired of that formula and style, you're probably gonna be like, yeah, where's the substance behind this?
Okay,
And
so
yeah,
in terms of the substance of the modern world, that's kind of gone to crap. But if you want to talk about the historical story substance, it's all there. Like right now, I've been playing these games for the historical story. I didn't give a crap less about the modern story. Like there's still like the theming and everything that connects them all. But honestly, the stories that they deliver in Origins and Odyssey are so amazing that they're worth playing as standalone games. Forget that they're Assassin's Creed title. Just play them for the story, and I swear to God, like they are some of the best written
And
stories that I've seen.
there's the reason why by principle I am staying away, because
Mhm.
they're just using the title at this point.
I know, but it's a
we were
shame
talking
though.
about earlier.
I know it's a shame though because these are actually quality stories. These aren't stories that
Well-
are, you know what I mean? Like it's actual, really well written stories,
Well,
and the
I'm
quests.
sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying that's my recommendation. Like otherwise, like I really have no other recommendations right now because I was looking into Forbidden West, and Forbidden West is not doing well. It's not. It's
Horizon?
not Horizon. Forbidden West.
What's
is-
wrong with it?
It's kind of a letdown for a lot of people
Oh.
because instead of evolving the game further, they're either staying to what was pretty much the first game, or they're giving you abilities that are introduced, but they're locking them out for areas where you have to do certain things. So, like, let's say, for example, if you have the ability to, I don't know, zip line like on a building or whatever, that move is blocked because in this puzzle because it'll be too easy for you,
So
kind of thing. Like it ruins your immersion every time you do something.
Oh, arbitrary walling of mechanics.
Arbitrary walling and mechanics, exactly.
right.
Rough.
Yeah,
Okay.
so something that's so sought out for all of a sudden is it's more, it felt more like a step back.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really push forward enough.
It sucks because Elden Ring also came out around the same time. So
Yeah.
that didn't help.
It was a fantastic game overall.
Yeah, fantastic game overall.
And-
But there's still lots of things that it can improve on, quite
Oh,
honestly.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, even with the negatives within Elden
Mhm.
Ring, right?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
were too many positives for me to
Oh,
just
of course.
for
definitely.
me to like. I think all really AAA games are gonna have some sort of negative in it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
like the negatives, if the negatives isn't even like too much of a bother for a lot of people or even myself, I still keep playing the fucking game. And you remember the time where people were not even people, but other devs and other
Mhm.
companies were dogging on Elden Ring because
Oh yeah, like the Forbidden West devs.
It's insane. Like,
was
what-
it? No,
why?
okay.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
it?
the Forbidden West. Yeah, the Forbidden
I
West.
thought it
devs
was
were
Ubi.
like,
I thought it was
No.
Ubisoft.
no,
Yeah,
no,
it was straight
Guerrilla
up the
Games.
Forbidden West people. Like,
Yeah,
they were just dogging it.
but how could you people like want this game? It doesn't even like show you where you need to go. You're like blind. It was like,
Yeah, that's why that Ubisoft meme came out.
you know.
Hold on, let me see.
The Ubisoft
Yeah, that's another
UI.
problem with it. Yeah, it just kept hand holding you. Apparently, Forbidden West kept hand holding you.
Yeah, hold on, let me see.
Yeah,
Here it
that was
is.
that was a problem with Ubisoft games.
This
That's
was
like
what someone posted. This is what would happen if Ubisoft made Elden Ring.
Yeah, you get
remember-
Forbidden.
Yeah, I remember that. This was absolutely ridiculous because it's so true. That's what
Yeah,
they.
it's
That's what they do.
UI craziness.
Yeah.
Like, look at all that, man. And the thing is that I can imagine Elden Ring actually having that.
By the way, that's not true at all for Odyssey and Origins and Valhalla.
Did they clean out? Like, actually,
Oh,
make it
it's
a lot
so
more
clean.
convenient?
It's so clean. Yeah, it's so very clean. These are old Assassin's Creed style games. It is nothing like. It's nowhere near the same amount of clutter anymore. It's very clean now.
I'm going to trust our players to know how to have fun in our game if we don't show them.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's exactly it. That was part of their argument. Like,
Did they actually said
how can
that?
you,
Was that
how
a
can you
quote?
enjoy a game being so directionless? You're basically just you say like, oh, go off in here and like with no direction whatsoever. That's part of their arguments. Like, how can you enjoy a game with absolutely no direction? It's like that's what's
Mhm.
called an adventure.
That was it. Every person that played the game, like I beat the game before Maximilian even got to start his run.
Yeah.
Yep.
He started playing, and every day he was finding stuff that I never saw. And then
I
I would
know.
look at another streamer, and they found stuff that even both of them didn't see. Like myself and Max. Like, it's wild because the emergent gameplay involved was just your experience,
Mm.
maybe very unique from another person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the fantastic part about the game, is that it was so weird. You'd have weird talks with all your friends going, hey, did you find this? No, where is that?
Yeah. I
And
think I'm the only one who used a Spartan type build where I hid behind a shield and started poking with a spear. All boss fights.
Yo, I straight magicked
I
out. I was
used-
gravity magic for so
Oh
long.
no, the magic.
I used
Mm.
a
I
Dex.
was that gravity mage. I was doing the
You were a
the
gravity
meteor drop.
mage. I think I was one of the only people who found like the light katana without any help at all. I also, because of my hardcore obsession with Lady Rena, I completed her quest and got the sword. So I got the Moonlit Greatsword, and I
Oh, yeah,
and
the
I
Moonlight.
couldn't use it because I was a Dex build. I was
Oh
so
god.
mad. I was so mad. I was like, damn it! I need magic. I
Oh,
have
you-
that.
He let her down.
But
Okay, question for you. Did you get deer or fair consort first?
fair.
When Yes! I'm not the only one who failed. I had to stream it all over again just to get deer. I streamed the whole saga all over again, New Game Plus, just to get the deer consort ending.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, again, like stuff like Elden Ring shows just, like it doesn't take too much to make a brilliant game as long
It's-
as you.
It's still the game of the year for me, to be honest. And
Yeah.
I hope it wins game of the year in its arbitrary game awards.
But you know what's funny? There's some really stupid technical flaws with Elden Ring though.
The technical flaws is in there, but it's
Oh, yeah.
still a fun as fuck game.
So
Go out to the winter area. That's where I think the biggest flaws come from.
yeah.
You think
First
so?
of all, so what was it again? Digital Foundry did some digging, and they were theorizing that the cause of some of the stuttering is because when you encounter a new mob type or a new boss, it starts to compile shaders real time at that very moment. So that's why it's kind of like it's like what the heck. Yeah, so it makes sense, and like it is true that like the longer you play, the more often you see encounter the same enemy types, it doesn't do that anymore. So it kind of makes sense. And then like how the game is hard locked at 60 frames per second. It's hard locked. You cannot go more than 60 frames per second.
Do you think that's more of a technical thing, so everybody?
It's
can
a
play
technical limit. No, it's a technical limitation because
Oh, okay.
their programming couldn't handle more than 60 frames per second.
Oh, okay.
It's a limitation on their programming end. So there's some really stupid technical flaws that other companies would like get super flack for, but like From Software is dear to our hearts right now. So
maybe because it's those flaws are like upfront and actually is a problem. And
well, I mean, yeah.
like I mean, it's not like Elden Ring didn't have a problem in the beginning. Of course it did, because
Yeah.
there were people who were playing on PC.
Yeah. But the
and-
fact that the only stable version apparently is the PS4 Pro version is the only one with absolutely no stability issues.
it's
It's
just
the one that they were developing for.
it's just the general PlayStation 4 version, because when I got my PlayStation 4 version,
Yeah.
it was perfect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was one of those people who tried to do it on Steam, but I had the invisible enemies glitch.
Oh God.
Laps in 39.
I remember.
I walk out into the field, right? I'm walking out into the field, and all of a sudden, I'm getting like manhandled by some invisible force. I'm like, what the fuck? What is happening? Then the golden horse shows up. I'm like, what the what? How did that? I don't even. What? And this horse thing. Where did you come from?
What?
Can enemies
You
just
can't-
be invisible now? That's not
You
fair.
can't handle. You can't handle like non-rendering enemies. Get good, scrub. What the heck?
I legit tried to play it that way, but invisible enemies are invisible. So,
Don't think, don't see, just feel.
all right, feel my ass getting handed to me. That's what was happening.
Mm.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously Steam was full paying, compensating people back their money, right? 100%. And
That's true.
From Software gave an apology, said that they're gonna work on that. They're sorry. They're like,
Yeah.
get your money back. We're looking into it. Get another version of the game. I got the PlayStation 4 version, and it works perfect. So
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah,
fixed it pretty quickly. Like
they
within
did.
they had a lot of those fixes for a lot of the stuttering down.
They did.
And
Yeah.
like they're still to this day giving
Yeah.
up for the game and balancing and everything.
right.
But I don't know if you guys are still playing, but the last patch introduced more stuttering again. So I was like, oh.
Ask Last Order how many times he died to the invisible
Oh
black
my
knives.
god. Oh, no.
That was so bad.
Damn it, Gems. Yeah, no, way too many times. No, even ask me how many times did I die to a fully visible Melania? 6 hours.
Oh,
Um,
good
worth.
lord.
6 hours worth.
Bro, I had to get Rivers of Blood for her.
Yeah.
Like
I
it
mean, the
was-
last.
Bro, I was fucking stubborn. Dex build, just first time fighting her, 3 hours. I was just pushing the wall, bro.
dude, I was a caster for that. So I walked in there and she's like, "Oh, you want to cast? That's cute."
I mean, Jams was able to pull it up, but that's because he had a helper. For me, the last 2 times I did it, mind you, I already had like 500 plus hours of the game into this already. Last 2 times, a one shot, but oh my god, that one time I was trying to Spartan her to death, 6 hours. I couldn't do it.
Ugh.
I couldn't do the Spartan thing. Like her heals was too much.
I think
Of course, now I'm level 300.
so. I want to say that gaming is. I can't say like in terms of like the culture, it's only improving in the indie space for me. But when it comes to,
I think it's still okay.
it's stable, but
Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot of these AAA game industries are
Because
making really odd decisions. Like
no,
Nintendo
because
is like a shell of its former self right now.
I mean, Nintendo's just showing its true colors that it always had since the 1980s.
I mean, business is business, but at the very least, when it came down to business plus video games, at the very least, they were not they weren't being too harsh about the business side of it. Like during the GameCube era, at the very least, they were trying their best to make a good and fun system where the business practice of it all was more friendly, which is the reason why the Wii came out and it was like one of the best game consoles ever sold. And they made a big mistake with the Wii U. But
Yeah.
when the Wii came out, they were very friendly in terms of their marketing. They like stayed at like $50, and even though the games that being resold was also being $50, but
Yeah.
but at the very least, they were thinking about more of like their customer rather than
No, I will object to that.
Whoa,
Think
whoa,
of
whoa.
it this way: Nintendo's the only company. Nintendo's the only company between console makers and even computer makers. Nintendo's the only company that actually makes profit from their consoles. It's the only company. Every other company, computer and console, lose money.
That's why we
Per-
have bloatware on our computers.
Yeah,
I mean-
That's how they're making ends meet with that.
yeah.
Why do you think
Eh,
that is?
That's because Nintendo. If you think Nintendo is very like what do you call this client friendly, they're not. They're really not.
No,
they're,
no, no.
They're savvy.
There
about-
was-
They can.
There
They
was
make that console and sell it at a price point.
there was
It's like, why do we still have Joy-Con drift to this day?
See,
Yeah.
now that's like today Nintendo. Like I'm talking.
No. That even back in the day,
Yeah.
they
Even-
always
Always
made
been that way.
profit. Yeah.
Okay,
they've
yeah.
always made profit.
Okay, yeah, but did it really hurt the customer?
Do you not remember how bad the NES was?
I
mean,
no,
their
not
NESs
really.
There were
The-
cartridges that were dying
Yeah.
because they had like bad battery systems. They had issues with carts
Oh!
all
The
the time.
front loading
with the
connector was
semiconductors.
horrible. Yeah, and
things
it was
failed
made of
all the
crap.
time.
Yeah, and it like what do you call it? It rusted over very easily because they were using cheap metals. They were
Yeah.
using cheap
I
copper.
do remember.
paddles
I do
themselves?
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on where they were manufactured, the paddles themselves were flimsy, and you can rock them back and forth, and it would
Right.
unseat the buttons in there.
Right. It's like
I owned one of these. That was my babysitter growing up.
the original Nintendo was so shoddily built, man.
Yeah, that barely worked. Like you had to like put in the cart in a very specific angle, and you had
Yeah.
to push it in until you got that right friction point. Put it in. Okay, I hope it works.
I can
And it
I can hardly remember like a lot of that. Like I had problems with my NES, but when the
Put the two
SNES,
prongs in the back. Channel 3. Let's rock.
I mean when
yeah,
the
when it
SNES
came to
when the
that was
SNES
fine.
when the SNES came out, I thought, because it was an incredibly popular system, their marketing, sure, they were like, hey, buy our console and you'll get a whole bunch of fuck ton of games with that. Like that's why, maybe because you guys remember the times of the NES, because I'm a bit younger, just a bit younger, so I don't remember entirely my NES days. I was lucky enough to have a Sega and an SNES while growing up, and the consoles only got a little better after that. But if you guys say what it is when it came to the cartridges and how it was cheaply made, I'm sure what they were doing with like the SNES, maybe even the N64 was kind of similar. But during those times, during those times, just, if I remember correctly, because it was after 1983, the United States was also coming out of the crash, and we basically had to restart the gaming market here in the US. So I'm not going to say that's an excuse, but I'm going to say that they were being careful, and the NES was still the very thing that brought back the video game market in some form or fashion.
Well, so there's a reason why the NES did, and it's a very strange thing. When they originally marketed it, it wasn't specifically under the video game thing.
Yeah.
Because video games weren't selling.
Right.
And so they put it into an entertainment system and then had it next to like VCRs and stuff.
Yeah, originally, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they sold Rob around the same time because hey, it's some robotics things. Ooh, look how cool this is.
So,
and that was the kind of idea they were going for. And once it started becoming commercially successful, that's when they started the campaigns marketing toward boys. Video games started going into the boys section of almost every department store. So yeah. I think overall games for me though, I think we're not really going to see any shift or change from AAA developers until there starts to become regulation on how microtransactions, loot boxes, or anything that has an obfuscating currency works.
Yeah.
Once we see them have to like put a real price up, people are going to start seeing it as, ooh, wait, maybe this is really bad. And it'll be a lot tougher for people to swallow $10 pixels. So I'm just hoping that eventually we're going to see people come to their senses and go, hey, maybe we need to regulate these guys at the very least to go, hey, chill it out. You don't need all of the money.
but they do. They need all them. But
It's
we can't.
it's endemic of a capitalist society.
What about
I'm not
Bobby
trying to
Kotick's
get
shot?
political on it, but
What about Bobby Kotick's shot? We need to pay for that for him.
he's what about the
desperately
fact that he's in Jeffrey Epstein's book?
Okay,
Oh,
we shouldn't
yeah.
probably talk about that one.
Let's go there. Let's do it. The night's young, guys.
we
Colt
probably shouldn't talk about that one.
He's suddenly panicking.
Well,
Come on,
Right.
man.
because that book is controversial in itself.
Yeah, no
I
doubt.
mean, it's not as controversial as the Panama Papers, yo.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Woo! We're going all over the place.
I'm just afraid for like a lot of the AAA industry. Like a lot of these big guys that were in the industry are off making their own indie company, right? Or
Yep.
just off their own.
Blizzard
their
had
own
a
company.
recent huge group switch off and they started their own stuff.
Yeah,
We
for
might
the
be seeing
RTS,
some
right?
commentaries. Who was
The
it?
RTS
Dreamhaven?
group, right? Yeah, Doomhaven. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Like,
popped out. They're doing their thing. Um, hopefully they start pumping out some interesting material. I honestly would love to see Blizzard get back on track. I'm honestly kind of hoping Microsoft really does complete the purchase and goes, alrighty guys, we're gonna start cleaning this up. We need to make this work because this is just ridiculous.
I can only hope that
Like I miss the classic World of Warcraft feel. It was fun when it had it, but we all grew up. So we're never gonna get back to that because we just don't have the time or whatever to do it. But there's got to be something better than what they're pumping out because everything it's hollow shells, quick throw out stuff, and nothing's memorable. I can't really tell you a time that I played a game of Blizzard's and I went, you know what, that was awesome. I usually get done and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm done with my daily. It's
I recently did.
not fun.
I said that was awesome, but that's only because I was playing Diablo 2.
I had that moment when the last time I had that moment was literally playing StarCraft campaign, the original StarCraft campaign.
Oh yeah, man. Oh,
That's the only time I felt that way. And then that's pretty much it. None of the Blizzard games really had that.
the
know,
original StarCraft
back
was
there.
it was crazy because like there was love, loss,
Mhm.
the way all of the groups fought each other,
Yeah.
it felt like a lived-in galaxy.
Yep.
And like the fact that they gave you their own creation tools in
Yep.
order for you to make your own levels,
Yeah.
it was beautiful because you could sit there and go, oh, so this is how they made this? And because they handed that off, there are people working for the company today that learned how to make RTS maps because of them.
And
Right.
Just releasing that free to their games.
they're also
Right.
they're also the same people in the company who got disillusioned and
Yeah.
and are thinking of leaving.
Well, I mean, it's all about money. Like
yeah.
Activision, like I know a lot of people throw a lot of shade at Activision, and they do deserve it. But people don't realize that they haven't been Blizzard since they were called Silicon Synapse.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they have changed hands what 5-6 times before Activision bought them.
Yeah, that's right.
Like they were never truly that private company. They were publicly traded constantly back and forth to different groups until Activision finally went, you're mine now.
Till I think Bobby Kotick came in at like 1993, where he took over and actually did a banging good job bringing it back from like where it was.
Like Blizzard lost its heart and soul when Blizzard North shut down.
Right.
I agree. Yeah.
And because after that, you can see the games slowly start sliding down a different path. It
Yeah.
was starting to become cookie cutter. It was seasonal. It was how can we get games out for each one of our IPs every 2-ish years? And they just started throwing things. Like look what they did with StarCraft 2. They
Yeah, that
popped
was
it out, and
terrible.
it wasn't
Yeah.
a complete campaign.
Yeah.
And they waited long
That's-
enough that you forgot about it, and then they made you buy the next part of the campaign for full damn price.
Yeah,
That's-
for full price. That's right.
And it eventually came out in 3 parts. And then they had the nerve, the just utter audacity to add in another specialty mode where you had to pay individually for each one of the heroes to
Yeah.
play something they already have all of the literal assets for in the game.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing it's, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Let's-
the campaign stories sucked
Yeah.
too. So it's no
It was
point.
weird. It was super weird. Like
It
it just
sucked. Like
You know
compared to the
what's-
first campaign, like the first game's campaigns, it didn't even hold a candle.
yeah.
You know what's
it
crazy?
felt quick.
You know what's crazy,
Yeah.
and I didn't know this until somebody actually had to ask Yoshi P this. Yoshi P went to a Ubisoft studio,
Yeah.
and he also tried to like get like at least observe Activision Blizzard. I don't think he ever made a visit to the company,
Mm.
but he took lessons from them and somehow started making good on like how he developed Final Fantasy 14 and going into Final Fantasy 15. So how is it that that man went to the office of Ubisoft and observed Activision Blizzard and still hasn't fucked up?
It's a two-parter, actually. So what he learned from them is the work order flow system.
Yes.
So he learned how to look at his employees and go, okay, this is how long it's roughly going to take. The change is it's the Japanese-centric work style. So instead of making everybody homogenize, hey, if you're making XYZ model, it's going to take this exact amount of time. If you take more than that, there's a problem. Instead, Yoshida looked at all of his people and went, okay, you can't make creative people do good things if they're under very strict constraints. So he realized who made what and their speeds they had it, and he just held them to their own standards, within reason, of course, but that allowed them to stay creative, and he knew how his team was going to functionally work. And I think that's really the big difference, because if you look at usually the Western companies, they're going at blistering speeds. Everybody is held to pretty much the same standard, and the creativity really feels like it's getting lost in the translation.
I mean, yeah, especially if you're doing a yearly release, you really don't have the time to be creative.
Like it just looks bad that, you know, some guy from the East came over to study up on you guys because he thinks that you guys are good examples, and then comes out saying like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, and then upstarts both of them and pretty much a lot of people in the gaming industry, and it's still doing
I think
well now.
they're probably looking back at him and going, hot damn, that works.
Right.
We may start seeing it soon. The
Right.
Yoshida method of running things, it may come to fruition, and we might start seeing a much more regimented and interesting system that allows for creativity. We can only hope, right?
And reduces crunch, really. Honestly,
That's
the crunch
a
is
big
getting
thing.
so
Yeah,
bad.
that's a
Yeah.
big thing.
I mean, crunch is going to happen in the industry. That's just
Right,
how
but,
it works
like-
when you have deadlines. But
Yeah.
extreme crunches where people are like literally living in their offices.
And that's the norm now for
It's-
Western companies.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I think I remember this. Nintendo did this thing where they would bring in like a basket of fruit for everybody in the office to make.
I
sure,
remember that.
Yeah, to make sure that they were healthy.
Mhm.
And I know that Yoshi P kind of forces his employees to take breaks, and here he is. He also needs to take breaks, but you know,
He doesn't. He is
doesn't.
really bad.
Right.
He only sleeps like 4 hours a night. That man, he's
Right.
going to literally work himself into the grave.
He's like Sakurai in that, because Sakurai, dude for creator of Smash Brothers, he does the same thing. Where all
Right,
he
yeah.
does is all he does is
Dude,
work.
I hope he gets plenty of rest before Nintendo like yanks the chain and pulls him back into his Smash Brothers dungeon.
I would hate.
Isn't he done though? Didn't he say he's not gonna make anymore?
Yeah,
though?
he
Well,
said he's done with it though.
He's retired.
Yeah,
right?
like he's
from
done
that?
with it, and he's like, "There's no way I can get what I have managed to get into Ultimate, because Ultimate has an almost just incomprehensibly huge roster from so many different things. Like,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. I just can't see that growing. How
Well-
can you top that?
They'll
Yeah.
probably come out with like an enhanced version of Ultimate with like, if they can keep the license with like more characters, like more seasons of characters.
They'll add Waluigi's like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's the first character to come in.
Honestly, I would like to see that kind of thing. I want to see IPs be able to last the test of time.
Mhm.
Because the reality is, what games have you seen, especially out of fighting games, that last the test of time and people want to see it at EVO every year?
I mean, Street Fighter is always going to be at Evo.
Street
Yeah.
Fighter's always
Third
there.
Strike specifically. I mean,
Yeah.
that Third
Yeah.
Strike I think was probably, it's one of the most kinetic and fun ones to watch. In the gambling of doing a push block is amazing.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, even now, like people still talk about that moment.
Yeah, the one where the dude's doing the super and he's just like push blocking it out.
Yeah,
Yep.
everything. Yeah, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, it's a fantastic. It's one of those. It's that
Legendary.
thing that every person that's of that old school, fighter games kind of thing, everybody knows.
Mhm.
They saw it, and everybody's hair stood up, and you could feel just the charge of everybody freaking out because they're like,
Yeah.
"Are we watching one of the greatest turnarounds in history?"
Yep. In
I was
fact,
like Mm.
I was gonna say that. Go ahead, Lester.
No, I was just gonna say like that was one of the most tense moments I've ever seen from any gameplay ever. It's like
Speaking of which, have you guys seen 6?
I've been keeping an eye.
oh,
on
I'm
six.
excited for 6. Yeah.
I'm just
I honestly,
I'm scared
I'm just
though.
ecstatic to see it.
I'm scared though, because my boy Ken, if rumors are correct, he ain't gonna have a good time in that game.
You're gonna have one that has a sleeping bag in the corner. It's gonna be an alleyway.
Hey man, that's what he gets for like buying into NFTs, man.
Bro,
Buying into Bored Ape, man.
Dude.
don't
If they
blame
had one where you
NFTs.
have to
He's
print off of a
Ken
Bored
Master.
Ape. Bruh.
I'm surprised. One of the things that I was surprised about when it came to like Evo was
Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom, right? There was that one year when Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came back, and everyone went fucking wild.
Mhm.
They were just like, "Oh, and we're bringing back Marvel vs. Capcom 2." What? Ah! Everybody just started screaming, and people were trying to join as much as possible.
The music
That-
for the game.
Oh god, it's so
Right?
like
You
even
have it stuck in your head because you hear it.
so good. Clock Tower,
All
dude.
the music is stuck in
Clock
your head.
Tower.
Let's not
Mind
forget
blown.
it's an amazing kinetic fighting game. Like
But,
it's
like-
just so good.
But like when they're coming out, when Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was there, everyone was still chill with it. But then Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and it didn't even last another year.
It just, it was funky, man. It just didn't have that thing that people were looking for,
And
Right.
the gem system really broke the game. They really shouldn't have done the
Well,
whole reality gem stuff.
Yeah,
like
it just feels goofy. Like it shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, and like not to mention like especially like is it the soul gem with someone like the Hulk or something pretty much makes them nigh invincible because they could just get all their health back all the
Yeah,
time. It's like this is ridiculous.
Like, I'm happy to see some of the upstarters coming out, like DNF Duel. It looks like a great entry level fighter kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
great to see fighting games come back, and
Yeah.
you're really seeing a revival where people are starting to take interest in it and think about it, and that wraps back into like multiverses. It's people are like, now there's no real barriers for entry for some games, so people are jumping in. I'm like, all right, I'll give this a go. I mean, what do I have to lose? So I think it's interesting.
I think
Yeah, I think they should have brought back Psylocke and Infinite. I think that
Yeah,
was
they
what was
should-
missing.
Oh man, Psylocke was a great character.
I know, it's true.
Honestly, I see her as the X-Men version of Cammy when it comes to fighting games.
I mean, like either her or X-23 would have been nice in Infinite, but we all know why the X-Men weren't there because Marvel decided, oh, we're gonna try and run them out of business if they don't give us the X-Men license. That was literally why they weren't in Marvel
yeah,
vs.
and,
Capcom
and you,
Infinite.
Yeah,
you know
it
what?
was
It's
rough.
That
and
was
it fucked it up hard too. That was-
I know. I was like,
Come on, you gotta have Gambit.
their
I
thought
know.
their thought process was like business. For a business standpoint, this will fuck up the X-Men. I'm like, oh yeah, but it fucked your game up too. So like, I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, good job, Marvel. Good job.
Good job.
And the thing is, I don't know why they don't do it like they've done in a lot of the rhythm games, like Rock Band and stuff like that.
Mm.
The licensing is transient, and you have to have it attached to your account, and you have to authorize it between different machines that you
Right.
run it on. So
Right.
like it's clear that the licensing is there, and they have a variable license so that when it's bought, whoever owns the rights to it gets that percentage profit.
Mhm.
I don't really understand why they couldn't have done something similar for characters in that game and had X-Men running around.
Oh no, I mean they could have, but their stance was we're gonna run X-Men down to the ground until what's their face is willing to sell it back to us. They were doing it not just for the game, but for the comics. They were doing it for every kind of media and like toy and everything that they had for the X-Men. They were literally running it to the ground so that they can purchase it again from, I forget who had
You know
it.
what's really bad about comics going on right
Yeah.
now?
Fox, yeah, there.
Most comic book stores
Hmm.
are purposely keeping a very specific amount of comics on their shelves so that they can prove a loss,
Wow.
so they get it back on their taxes.
Oh wow.
A lot of
That's
these,
why comics are on certain places' shelves, simply because of that.
Wow, that's
it's
smart.
you know what's a shame is that a lot of these comic book stores are actually running out of business. It's been
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Well, the
been
ones
going
that
on
are
for a
only
while.
comics, it pretty much destroys them. Any of the places that have services or have like other prolific communities, Magic the Gathering, honestly, is the reason why we still have stores like that.
True.
Because if the cards that were the quick and you can grab it, hey, you got a table to play, cool, go over there. Like that's the kind of communities that are keeping these stores alive. If it wasn't for them, it'd be a ghost town, man.
Right, because what sucks is that manga is also keeping these stores alive. So people are
Yep.
coming
Yeah,
in.
depending on where they're at in the U.S.,
Right.
it's very much a variable thing because the problem with keeping things is the same reason like comics are kind of a loss right now because manga people come in and they're like, I'm looking for this, and they'll rattle off some type of moon speak at you, and you go, okay, let me type that in. I don't have that, and you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna go to Amazon and they're just gonna get the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, it's so hard to have enough shelf space for these things.
Dang.
You like the Moonspeak reference?
uh, well, I mean, you're right. This is the reason why we had to talk about the comics before, and why Eric D. July had to do what he had to do. So
Mhm.
It's good. Like, I honestly, I'm hopeful for quite a few things in the future, but I think a lot of AAA is going to still be in trouble, man. I just think we'll get one or two gems a year, and the rest are going to be just kind of, all right, cool. It was neat for a minute, I guess.
I mean, but like you have to think about it. That's all of gaming, because even with the indie department, right? Like you're only picking and choosing like the good indies. Look how much shovelware there is out there.
Oh
True.
yeah,
true.
but I mean,
true.
but Vampire Survivors though.
Oh God, please, honestly, do you like that game?
I find it fun.
Well,
Okay.
I keep wanting to play Castlevania because I keep...
But that's exactly it. It
Yeah.
scratches an itch, and you just kind of you can just enjoy it. Like that's it. There's nothing complicated. You just play it, and that's it.
Right.
Just have fun, and it's so cheap. So whenever you're up late at night and you're like, well, I'm not quite ready to go to bed. Well, I'm gonna go see how stupid I can be, and you're done. You just have fun with it.
Oh.
we got some.
I shank people in ancient Greece. You kill vampires. Well, we all do our own thing.
That's okay.
Oh, funny enough, it actually didn't have vampires till a recent update.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
that's the funny thing about it, because it was just like you would play until death shows up. You're like,
Yeah,
fuck.
Death was the big end bad.
But there was no vampires until just recently.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there were zombies, there were fishmen, there were all kinds of stuff, man. There were witches. Nah, no vampire.
What the hell?
Hey, listen. Like
The world is a lie.
I'm almost done. Well, no, I've stopped playing Diablo Immortal for like maybe a good few weeks now, so I don't need to get any more footage from that.
Sync, just stop playing it. Period.
But I'm still getting footage from other free to play games.
Yeah,
And-
just stop playing Immortal, please. Your soul is worth more than that, please.
I don't know, Solus. What do you think about my soul?
Solus has no soul. He has no reference point.
Whoa. I can be like quarter soul or something. I'm willing to deal.
Oh my gosh, I didn't spend any money in it.
Good.
Okay, do you want a golf clap or do you want a one hand clapping?
I'll take the golf clap.
Okay,
Ooh,
you get none.
I'll give you.
But I mean, if I were to say now, like free to play games and just gaming culture it's mostly the AAA industry that ruins like free to play games for me. And I guess Multiverses is being produced by a major company, which is WB.
Mhm.
But like until it's out of beta, it feels like a good game. It feels like a good fighting game.
Mhm.
and it feels like a game I could be really good at.
That's good. As long as you're enjoying it, just we'll stay optimistically hopeful yet cautious, because again,
I mean,
there's that store part that we're not seeing yet. So
I'm still playing Guilty Gear every now and then though. So
Guilty Gear is amazing.
yeah,
I just wish it didn't fall off so fast.
yeah,
There was a big fall off with that game.
yeah. I sad about that.
Yeah, it's
Well-
such a good game.
Well, we're at the end of the runtime. It's been a good conversation. Thank you both for joining
Yeah,
me. It was
Thank you for having us.
it was a
Yeah.
fun time. So last order, because I noticed that you didn't.
Yeah,
have
you added an S. I noticed. I just didn't want to say anything.
Is there anything you want to say before we wrap
It's nice
this
to be
up?
back in the apartment after you kicked me out. Jerks.
Listen, listen, listen. We told you
Mhm.
not to drink the glass of water unauthorized, and you did.
That was
anyway.
Anima. I drank the Kool-Aid. He drank the water. Let's get that
Ooh.
straight,
But
okay?
what flavor Kool-Aid are we talking?
It was special Kool-Aid.
Pink lemonade.
Yeah, it was.
That's a Kool-Aid flavor?
I don't know.
Pink lemonade. Oh god, that pink sauce. Ugh.
Ugh.
Ew.
There's
Make
a,
some good McRibs, right?
I should have paid rent. I know I should have paid rent.
there's a pink sauce out there. Go look it up. It's crazy.
Wait,
Think
that
so?
wasn't a meme?
No, it's not me.
Oh,
It's real.
gross.
Excuse me? Really?
Yeah, there's a pink sauce out there. People have been getting it, and it's like discolored, no color at all. The bag bursts, and people are just like, "Yeah, I'm not putting this on my food."
What the heck?
The back has like a slapped on sticker where the numbers were wrong, like 444 servings in a ketchup sized bag.
Are we
Ketchup
talking
sized
about
bottle.
the pink sauce?
Yep.
Is that the TikTok thing?
Yeah.
Bro, this thing is gross.
Oh.
Who knows, Calcor? Maybe you will be invited. You just need to have an open schedule.
Yeah, I think Cal should be in this. One of these.
What about you,
Wait,
Solus?
it's dragon fruit, honey, chilies, and sunflower seeds. What? Why?
Why?
I'm done. Nope, I gotta stop looking at the thing.
Yeah, don't. You
No,
can take it to a different world.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've recently found myself enjoying watching games more than playing some of them, and I don't know if that's way some others are feeling about it, but like some games, I've been so apathetic toward them because they just haven't held on to my attention.
It's the same thing with me, kind of. But I've been finding like indie games, like the Little Noah is a little game that showed up in Steam and the Switch. Played it on the Switch. It's a really fun little game. I think it's like $10. I'm not too sure. It's cheaper than that, but it's just a small little game. And the game actually came from it derives from a mobile game that went defunct. It used to be a free-to-play mobile game. The game failed, so they took the characters and made a side-scrolling roguelike dungeon action RPG. 2.5D.
So what Sync is saying is that he's playing mobile games now, and he thinks that they're legitimate games now.
He's one step off the gotcha.
Bro,
He's
I-
getting there.
bro, I still play DS games. That's smaller than a mobile game.
But those are legitimate games, you know. Just on a mobile
They're-
platform.
Listen, mobile games have legit games in it too. You know this. You know this already.
Lies and slander.
There's like
Oh boy,
like
so this one can go on for 30 minutes.
I can acknowledge mobile games. It's just some games.
How dare you?
Like the ones that you can pay for, I'm pretty sure are good. I found Fantasy 9 on my
Fantasy
phone.
Tactics is on mobile now.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
The 9 port to mobile doesn't play too well, I find.
It's actually very buggy, but it's
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah.
I want to see Tactics on PC.
You want what on PC?
I want to see Tactics on like Final Fantasy Tactics. I want to see it
Isn't
on.
it on PC?
It's on
Is it not on PC yet?
There's versions that are adjacent to it, but I have never seen it on PC without me doing some
Tactics
wild stuff.
adjacent. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's get that done, Square Enix. I know you watch us. Come on, guys. Ubisoft, come on.
And
Make me another Odyssey, please.
get off that NFT bullshit, Square Enix. It ain't
Yes,
gonna
please.
work.
Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, quickly about that, right? You guys know about the whole like like you buy the statue, you get the NFT, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for me personally, since the NFT is on the side, I mean, granted, it still has the same environmental effect, but in terms of business side, I think that's a little less scummy than what the other companies are doing, where it's literally just a JPEG, literally just a PNG.
Well,
But I like how they have a disclaimer saying, like, it, basically it's saying that like that's not yours permanently. Something could happen to it. If something happens to the server, that thing is gone. So at least it has a little disclaimer. It's just like, oh my god, this is too funny.
well, I mean, if you're getting a physical object, I think it's a lot different than someone getting something digital. It's
Yeah.
the same reason why I have a hard time playing, say, digital card games.
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah.
Yeah.
you're doing not only a gotcha mechanic, you
Mhm.
don't own that card.
Right.
The only
Yeah.
reason that I'm okay with it in real life is that when you pick up that pack, you pay a price with real money, you open it up, and those are your cards.
Those are
Yeah,
yours.
You have a
Yep.
physical
Those are
product.
yours. Yeah.
Sometimes they're worth more, sometimes they're worth less.
Yeah.
More often than not, the latter.
Can't-
But it's physical.
Yeah.
That's why it works.
And for these digital only things, like you have to remember when that service runs out, nothing is gone.
When the
It's gone forever.
yeah, the server's down and that's
Yeah.
it. It's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
And yet some smart head upstairs is like, this can work. And everyone else is like, it can't though, bro.
But then there's a lot of us that say, yeah, it does work. Yeah, let's go clean. Oh wait, that's me.
I think there's a lot more idiots out there. I don't know. Anyway, the end of the
You
show.
just called me an idiot. It's true though.
Thank you for watching Apartment A14. If you guys want to catch a recap on this, it's going to be in Twitch for like a month, but it's going to be here on YouTube. You can come and watch it again. I don't think all the episodes are here on the channel yet, so I do apologize for that. Again, apartmenta14.com will have all of our records, both first season and this season, which is now developing, plus our articles. I'd like to thank Last Order and Solus for joining me again today. You guys are lifesavers because one of us, like I said, one of us is fighting a particular sickness.
Yeah.
And another one of us is incredibly busy.
Is he doing okay, by the way, Saint?
He's recovering, but
Okay.
I'm
All of them are.
Yeah, I'm forcing him not to overwork himself. I told
Right,
him.
yeah.
I told him to.
Relax.
Yeah, I told him he's not going to be on the podcast because.
Yeah, no, that's good. No, as long as they're recovering, that's good to hear.
Yep. So with that being said, thank you guys and have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.